Near, near, near.
Hey! Whoa! Whoa! Look at that, baby. We made it. It's Monday. Has everybody got a case of the Mondays today? Not me. I'm in a great mood. I didn't get much sleep, so there's that. So tonight, around 1 a.m. or something, you're going to see me like this, like, all right, guys, maybe it's time to call her in. But that's okay. The sleep I got was good. And, man, I'm so happy to be here with you. A call-in show. We got some good news, some channel news, some bad news. We got call-ins to take. All things relevant to you wanting to tune in. So now I know what you're thinking. Some of the shows suck. Yesterday's show sucked. Tomorrow's show will suck. But today's show, this is the show. This is the one you want to tune into. So you're in the right place. Oh, thank you all so much for being here. It's absolutely tremendous to spend so much time with all of you. And I really particularly like the call-in shows where I get to hear from people. So for me, one of the reasons that I like doing this show so much isn't just because so many people call in. My original idea was the call-in show would primarily be people disagreeing with me and debating me because I love debating. And don't get me wrong, I still love that shit. But something happened unexpectedly with this show that I just think is phenomenal, which is I got to know so many of you, your personalities and stuff. And really is. I think it's an awesome community that we build here. And a huge part of that is this show and you all that call in. So thank you so much for that. Really, 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 really means a lot to me. So yeah, the whip songs were out in full force last night. The community continues to be divided amongst those that absolutely hate the whip song and will probably physically assault me with a whip if they ever see me in real life, and people that think that it's the only part of the show that matters. Ah, boy. But there are some of you that stick around for both, and for that, I thank you. So what's going on with my life that's worth talking about today? I do have a hard out at 2:30. Now, my son doesn't have school today. He goes back tomorrow. But I have a hard out at 2:30 because my wife's got stuff that she needs to get done. And so I'll be driving her to that while I'm hanging out with our man. Last night we went Christmas lights, looking at Christmas lights. That was a lot of fun. Oh, I forgot to tell my wife. My son told me that kangaroos were nocturnal. I was like, yeah, I don't think you're right about that. Turns out he's right. So I don't know how the heck he knew that, but man, it's amazing. And yeah, life's been going pretty good. Be busy this week. Got some stuff to do for the Crucible, also some stuff to do with Word War, and some stuff to do for my show. So it's going to be a lot of busyness in a good way for me. I showed this last night. I'll show it here. Um, my son's preschool, they had this sort of, I don't know what it is, like a promotion they had with this online store or whatever. And my son got to make me a gift, and he got to pick what gift he wanted to give me. Now, he likes my computer area, and sometimes we come up here and we film videos that no one gets to see. It's just like, it's a lot of dinosaur talk. Blasterbot would be a big fan. So my son likes to come up and, we'll just turn the camera on and turn like OBS on so he can see, and we'll record just him being like, this is, and he'll have his little dinosaur toy. So he knows, I told him some of what the computer parts is. He knows what the camera is, the microphone, some stuff like that. One of the things he asked about was this. It was my mouse pad. And so I was explaining to him, like, oh, you put that down so your mouse doesn't get dirty and it runs easier. So he remembered that. And one of the things he wanted to get me was, he drew a little picture, and this is what he wanted to get me. Turned it into a mouse pad. So there it is. Which it's phenomenal. So here you see my dog Dorothy he drew. And this is me. I'm the blue guy. And this is my wife. And the green guy's my son. Green's his favorite color. And then this was the race car that he wants for Christmas. So I now have the coolest mouse pad in the world, and I'm very thankful for that. Yeah, a lot of fun. He's a great guy. We'll stall here for a couple more minutes, and I got some bummer news to share for people, not about me, but about someone else. But I think it's worth talking about. For today's show, well, I thought that there's a lot of topics we could talk about. I thought maybe we would cover, my friend Avarice sent me a couple articles on the Tim Walz thing. So I thought maybe we'd look at some of those. Excuse me. Maybe I'll look at that debate tonight, the Destiny soy pill wick debacle. But Battle Brother Zero says, Rob, I feel sorry for you having to deal with Godless Engineer. Don't feel sorry. It's all right. It was my pleasure to smack him around in a debate. This is always the case. Before we get to the bummer news, as we're just stalling for some people to come in, I want to remind you again, I'm going to heavily be pushing this, so apologies for that, but it's totally worth it. Please, 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 if you haven't, follow Word War over on social media accounts. January 10th is going to be the first event. There's going to be some announcements coming out this week about people that have joined the team, about who's going to be debating at the first event. Those announcements are going to come out. So please, please, please make sure you're following Word War Debate over on X, wordwardebate.com. You go over there. Get your tickets now. Because we're going to see, once we start to announce who the people are that are debating, people in their audiences are going to gobble up these tickets. I keep using the word gobble after Thanksgiving. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of using that word. So, which is the best way to send me a message? Probably X. DM me on X. Now, just so you know, in case anyone's wondering, notice how my hands are up here, and then watch what's going to happen to the, There's a little gremlin behind the scenes. Boop, boop, boop. My buddy Avarice has been helping me behind the scenes with the shows, which I can't thank him enough. Absolute amazing guy. And so a lot of times if you see messages pop up and stuff, and you're like, wow, how's Rob so flawlessly talking? Well, he's able to put messages up. Well, you could blame EOD. That's how I'm able to do it. You see how it works? Because for me, anytime I'm looking to put anything up on the screen like that, I'm like, you'll be able to tell. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It takes me forever to remember where shit is. So there you go. What do you think about that, Jake? Yes, thank you, Jake. Also, I was telling the audience last night when my son said that kangaroos were nocturnal, my wife was like, "We'll call Rob's Australian friend." And I was commenting on the video last night. I was like, I think it's funny. Poor Jake. He's going to be getting calls from like my 5-year-old son, like, Jake, do they really have spiders as big as your head in Australia? And he's going to be like, why am I getting these calls? I assume he's expert on all things Australia. Is there a way to send a super chat without giving YouTube? Yes, as my man. Look at the wow. You could donate through PayPal at Robert Noor, buymeacoffee.com/robnoerr, or Cash App at $Rob Noor. Oh, shit. Ever seamless there. He's even got my speaking cadence down. He knows exactly. So it wouldn't be a super chat on YouTube, but you could donate through there. Also, one other place, and I'm going to start doing this more. Oh, there you go. We'll have the merch store that'll be up and running soon. We'll be able to purchase hats, shirts, hoodies, etc. So I'll get that information to you as soon as it's done. One other place that you can send me donos, if you like, is on Kick or on Rumble. Today we'll focus on Rumble, but I am going to be putting out and pushing people to those platforms more for various reasons. Least of which is if YouTube ever decides to ban me or censor me, it's nice to have a backup where people could find me. So on Rumble, you could give a dono and I'll read it on screen. It's easy for me to find. And you don't have to worry about YouTube getting your credit card information or any of that good stuff. So you can't. The only place you could that your super chats will show up where I could bring them on screen is YouTube. But I will read them if you just say, hey, I sent you a super chat on Rumble or on PayPal or whatever. I'll read it and I'll say who it was from. So, yeah, I'm hoping. I think Jake will appreciate it. I think Jake will be a great, like crazy uncle, crazy Australian uncle. In fairness, I asked Jake a bunch of ridiculous questions. So, all right. Well, we'll wait one more second. We'll wait. There you go. Thank you. Now let me know. I think the kick donos work now. I think I got it all worked out. So, yeah, I love it. I love all the questions my son's sending. All right, we might as well do this. So last night I learned on the show that someone that I've done a lot of panels with back in the day. It's been probably a couple years, but someone I did panels with who was an actual cool guy in the space. That was a pleasure to be on panels. That was actually a good faith debater, which seems rarer and rarer nowadays. Passed away. His name was Eco Rich. He was a great man, and it's sad, obvious. Look, I'm the type of person. Maybe I'm soft. I don't even celebrate, or celebrate's not the right word. I don't take pleasure in the fact that anyone dies, even people that I don't like, even people that are demonstrably bad people. Like, I always try to think of this, even if it's a serial killer or someone, it's like, did they have someone that loved them, a family member or something that didn't do anything wrong? And so I'm always thinking about that sort of stuff, even like when bin Laden died or something like that. Let alone someone who's actually a pretty cool person that you've interacted with online. And it really is. It really is. It's shitty. I know that death's a part of life. I hope that Rich was a Christian and that his eternal soul was saved. But I'm remembering him for the good times that we had. And I thought that I'd like to share with you a little memoriam. So he worked with a website called Modern Brain, and they put up a memoriam of him. And I thought I'd like to share it this morning here. So y'all could learn a little more about Rich and maybe keep his family in your prayers. So here we go. Memoriam Coach Rich Simpkins. In late November 2025, Richard Simpkins passed away. He'll be remembered as a beloved debater, coach, mentor, brother, son, and friend. Coach Rich taught hundreds of Brainmaster and Modern Brain students since July 2022, but he coached and judged debate for over 35 years. His students were well respected across judges, circuits, and states. They won in speech and debate in front of lay people and experts. He worked at TFA, UIL, and NSDA speech tournaments. Was the tournament director for the SMU Symposium Classic from 2004 to 2007. Volunteered to coach a new team at Singley Academy, which won the UIL championship for Lincoln Douglas debate that year, the first year of the team's existence, and consulted for Hebron High School for years. And Lincoln Douglas, the style debate I did was policy debate. Lincoln Douglas is probably as close as you get to that. Instead of 2-on-2, it's 1-on-1, and there's a lot of other rules that are changed. Lincoln Douglas would probably be more valuable for you as an audience person to watch than policy debate. But it's very serious, high-level competition. And, I knew that Rich was involved in debate, but I didn't know that. I didn't know how involved, and I'm sad that I'd never had a conversation with him more about it. Beyond debate, Simpkins served as a partner to outreach coordinator for online book selection engine, worldswithoutend.com, for the past 20 years. Every story is itself an argument, and that's how he approached his bookish endeavors as well. Rich believed there's no avenue of research that doesn't benefit from broad historical and literary context. So, God bless you, Rich, man. I'm sorry to hear of your passing. God bless his family. May they be with him in what must be a really difficult time. The online debate community sometimes could be a real scummy place with drama, with people that maybe it's low level drama, just people acting with stupidity in these panels or in these debates, or it gets a little worse, people making accusations and stuff, or there's people involved in these spaces that I've debated or on these online spaces that there's real heinous stuff that's accused by them. The truth is, when it comes to the online sphere, I've asked this question many times. Is it that being a big personality here and someone with a lot of views and stuff makes you a shitty person? Or is it that the characteristics that make you a shitty person are what's needed to become big in this space? I don't know. But it seems that the more terminally online you are, the higher propensity it is for people to be morally dubious. And you never got that with Rich. He was a good dude through and through. So, God bless you, Rich, man. I'm sorry I didn't get to know you better, but for being an important part of this space and being someone that, I think illustrated the best of debate and sort of how to engage in these online spaces. You'll be missed, man. So I was real sorry to hear that. I really was. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you he was my best friend or I knew him that much, but my interactions with him were always positive. So, if you have some time, please say a prayer for his family. And also, Rich, a fellow brother in sort of official academic debate as well. So, you'll be missed, man. Jeff Hall says, I find it creepy when some people say, I hope they believe exactly what I believe when someone dies. What the fuck is that? I don't know. Is that what you're saying? As someone who's a Christian and believes in eternal salvation, of course I want the best for people. But whatever his beliefs may have been, I don't care. I think he's a great man. So, all right. Sorry to start off on sort of a sad note, but if you didn't know Rich, be a little upbeat with this. He was a true blessing in the panel space. And if you did know Rich, then remember how positive he was in those spaces. So I'll put the link out. If you want to check out his memoriam, please do so. If you'd like to read that yourself, but there you go. All right. A couple other things before we jump into the potential topics of today and then open up the calls. Um, I am officially one of these days I'm going to try to stream and it ain't going to work. And then I'm going to have to get in my phone and stream exclusively to YouTube for that night cuz my computer is shitting the bed. I had to restart my computer 3 times today because it would not pick up the internet. Now, it doesn't have the ability to get Wi-Fi, so I'm direct connected into my internet and my internet's working fine. Everything else direct connected to it or through Wi-Fi is working fine. The problem is sort of the connection itself. And you might say, well, it's just a cord or something. No, because it'll do this routinely with a bunch of other slots as well. So, for example, routinely, my monitors won't come on. They'll just shut off, and that's it. And other things, like I've had my camera that just won't work randomly. Um, in addition, it started to, especially when I'm trying to do like Zoom calls and stuff like that, working with organizations that I'm working with, it keeps crashing out on me. Now, here's the problem. Eventually, I'm going to get an opportunity to do a show like Piers Morgan, and that's going to be like call in through my computer. What am I going to do when I get a big opportunity like that and I'm deemed unreliable because my computer keeps shitting the bed? I can't have that happen. And so I'm going to have to get a new computer. Now, plus side is my buddy Avarice happens to know a thing or two about computers and what's necessary to have one in order to be streaming. I think he's going to help me out with it. But I am going to have to raise some money for a computer. So at some point this week, we're going to do a fundraiser for Get Rob a Computer. So I will be pushing a little more for sort of a computer stream. So I just wanted to let you know that's something that happened. So if you see me crash out or some shit like that, that's what happened. And it's happened. I know it's happened here in the past, like in the past couple weeks. You've seen it happen where it's like, what the fuck happened? Where'd Rob go? Well, that's where I'm going. My computer keeps shit in the bed. I do have a P.O. box, and if you DM me, I can send you that P.O. box. But like I said, just so you know, I think Avarice is going to build the computer for me or have someone build the computer for me and then probably send it to me. So maybe you have an extra hard drive, and I don't even know what SDD stands for. I'm a fucking idiot. This computer I have was the person who helped me. I put it together myself. Is someone helped walk me through it and help me pick out all the parts was our good friend Aftershock. So he helped me with that. So just wanted to let you know that. Solid state drive. There we go. I knew that. I did not. But I want to get one that I'm not going to have to piss with it for like 3 years. So I want something that's like top of the line. So there's no fucking questions. That it's not going to shit the bed on me. That's the idea. I don't have to worry about, oh, you can't have StreamYard open while you open a Zoom call or it's going to fucking crash. I can't have that shit going on anymore. So, just to let you know that'll be coming. Last thing, and this is going to be bad news to people, but I think it's going to be good news for me. I'm going to have to cut back how often I'm doing the daytime streams. I'm probably going to cut back to call-in shows every Tuesday and Thursday instead of 5 days a week. And there's multiple reasons for that. One of the reasons for that is it's very difficult for me to accomplish things around the house. Because what happens is usually I'm up to like 3, 4 in the morning doing the nighttime stream. Then I sleep in a little. Then I wake up around like 9 or 10. Then I usually do a couple things around the house. And then by 11, I got to start getting ready for this call-in show. So I come up. That usually lasts to 2:30, at which point I immediately go pick my son up from school. Then I spend a little bit of time with him. Then I'm usually doing work for the Crucible at some point behind the scenes. By the time that's done, we have dinner. And then I'm up here getting ready for the evening stream or doing more work for something like Word War. And it's very difficult to find time to do just dumb things like hang up Christmas lights or, go to the pharmacy to pick up medicine, shit like that, right? The other thing that I'm going to start doing, so I've been very good for 3 days post-Thanksgiving. I've been very good in my diet. My diet has been meat and green vegetables, basically. Though I'm cheating on the green vegetables. Like, I allow carrots, onions, I had a salad that had some red and yellow peppers on it. But basically, you get the idea. That's it, though. Trying to completely take out bread, completely take out anything that's got sugar in it is best my ability. So I'm trying to do that. I am going to uh, start working out during this time. So I got DDP yoga. My back is still incredibly painful, but I'm going to try to do my best to work around my herniated disc. But I want to start making sure that I'm exercising more. So I'm committing to getting healthier. I think I've started okay. It's only been a couple days, but I've started eating right. I should get a decent laptop too. That's something to think about. So I just want to let you know. So I think that I'm cutting back on streaming the daytime show for a good reason. I think getting healthier and like getting things done around the house, I think are important. So yeah, DDP yoga. I used to do it all the time, and then I hurt myself. I hurt my back at work, and it's so there's a lot. I mean, it's yoga, but it's also push-ups and shit like that. But man, I tried to do it after I herniated my disc, and it's just it was impossible. So I'm gonna try my best. They got special programs on there for people with bad backs. So the plan is I'm gonna start with that, and then eventually, once I feel a little more confident, I'm actually gonna get a membership to the local gym and try to hit that at least 3 days a week. So yeah, I think getting weight off will be good for my back too. So I weigh about 260 pounds, I believe. Now my heaviest, I was 330 pounds. So I've done a decent job incrementally year over year. But this is e-begging at its finest. Yeah, there we go. Don't be a simp. Cool. See you, bud. What am I even begging for here? Uh, what happened to people going? Yeah, what happened to people going to work and doing real jobs? Yeah, I did that. I probably worked more hours at my job in the past 5 years than you will in 15 years. Uh, so eventually, I'd like to start going to the gym and getting a membership, and hopefully I don't need some super intensive trainer, but just someone at the gym that would be able to, work me through a routine that would be right for me. I think that would be good because I'm smart enough to know when I'm dumb at shit. And when it comes to sort of fitness and stuff, I think that I could use a hand of people, particularly when it comes to working out, telling me what would be right for me. So that's the idea. But I think that one of the things I talk about, the two goals I really have, the three goals I have for New Year's, my New Year's resolution is going to be one, to be a better father and husband. Second, I want to become a better Christian, to be learning more about the Bible and to take that more seriously. And third, I want to really double down and advance the growth in my channel and the projects that I'm working with. And for me, part of being a better husband and father is I can't be a fat piece of shit. I just can't. It's not that I can't be that guy, right? Also, not the biggest fan of horses, so I'm probably not going to be that guy. Yeah, Marte. I didn't even think to get a hold of Marte. Yeah, Marte probably would help me out. But for me, I want to start being a better role model for my son. I think he's getting to that age where he's going to start to see some of my habits. He already does. And so I don't want the habits of like just being a layabout to be something. I want to try to put forth a good foot. And I'm also already old for a dad. So I had my son when I was 36. And so I don't want to be that dad that like can't go out and be active with his son. So I'm going to do my best to try to make sure that I'm becoming more physically fit. All right, that's it. That's all the bullshit. You won't even believe this, over on Rumble. We have a monthly supporter. It's Avarice. Thank you, Avarice, for becoming a new monthly supporter. Super chats. AJC. Oh. I can start dancing with Avarice. Yeah. Is that it during Disney whip songs? AJC, $50. Thanks. Says it work. But got a nice paycheck from work because of Thanksgiving. Doesn't have to be a whip wheel unless Avarice wants one later. We'll put it on the tab for tonight. I'll be listening in the hole I work. Excited to hear about Tim Walt's situation. Hit the like, everyone. Yes, we will. And call me GL. $5 says DDP Yoga is a W. The only thing I'd say is check into a sauna or sauna suits for when you do work out. Now, I used to have in football. I remember I bought one of those sauna suits. Holy shit! You gotta be careful with them, man. And you'll lose a shitload of weight. Like it sucks the water right out of you. So, all right, your goal here today is to get to that $357 dono mark. So get those super chats in on all platforms. We really appreciate it. Remember, see, Aver says, I got tagged in a photo. How about this? Ooh. All right, before we get to sort of the story here, one last thing. I know I mentioned Word War, but the guys at Word War, really great dudes. It's going to be an awesome show. But check this out. If you could do me a favor, please, 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 let's show the guys at Word War your support and support for me. I got 2 tweets for you to check out. So here we go. Avers, you'll like this as well. Here's what they put out today. So if you like and retweet this individual tweet, that would be great. I guess it's called post now. But here you see them. They say, big thanks to Rob for shining a Word War on the show. That's you, Avers. It's going to be an epic day filled with the best debates. Get your tickets going to wordwardebate.com. As soon as we start announcing main debate cards, tickets will sell out. Don't wait. The event will be live January 10th in beautiful Atlantic City, New Jersey. So please, please, please go over and like and repost this if you can. If you have an X account, we're trying to get as much reach as possible. But I'll just show you a little. If you saw the stream last night.
Hi, I'm Aver.
Before we get to the next story, I want you all to pause and do something for me. Now, I know routinely, one of the things I do routinely on this show is I like to right now to their. We're talking so there you go. You can see us talking about it. You can check the video out. I don't have to play the whole thing. You get the picture.
Look at that
also,
handsome man right there.
Why am I okay, clearly I'm wearing the same hat, but I'm also wearing a shirt that has mountains on it. It's different. This is a Coors Banquet beer shirt. So check out.
How come I support your merch more than you do, Rob?
Well, I'm wearing the hat. And then there's another post here that you can check out with the venue. But please, if you have an X account, go over there, and like and repost. That would be great. All right. Now, there's a lot of stories that we could talk about today, and obviously anything you want is fine by me. I don't mind. Thank you, Arwin, man. I see that, man. We still have this story about the attacks on Venezuelan ships. I don't mind covering it, and I have. But remember, this is being done to distract from things like Afghan migrants that came in and killed that shot 2 National Guard members, one of which, Sarah Backstrom, has passed away. And prayers to her family and her. The other, Andrew Wolf, is still fighting for recovery. So prayers to him and his family as well. The story is meant to distract from that. Also, what's the dog that's not barking? And I use that term specifically for this reason. Remember how the Epstein files and that was the biggest story in the world for the Democrats, and it was going to prove that Trump was this big piece of shit? What happened with that? What happened? All of a sudden, that's right quick out of the news once it turns out that prominent Democrats were actually connected to him. Whoops-a-daisy. So now right on to the next scandal. And this is something that we fall for as conservatives all the time. We're good-natured. We have good faith. We'll criticize our side when it's warranted. At least I will, and most of the people in my audience. And so they'll keep going, here's this story. Here's this story sourced by now. Oh, now here's another one. Oh, Russia collusion, that's the biggest thing. Oh, okay, that's bullshit. Never mind. Now let's move on to the Ukraine thing. That's the biggest thing. Oh, January 6th. Let's move on to that. Oh, the COVID thing, right? Just one bullshit story after another. Sometimes the stories have some kernel of truth to them, and there's criticism warranted with the Trump administration. But nonetheless, this is what they do. Continue to advance the narrative over and over and over and over and over and over again. Meanwhile, they're unwilling to ever have any legitimate criticism of their side. So at this point, the anonymous story that JAG officers are now saying, oh my God, this proves Pete Hegseth committed a crime. I'm not even going to cover it today. People want to talk about it in the call-in show, fine. But here's the story. Remember Tim Walz, the VP pick for Kamala Harris? who came very close to being the vice president of the United States. How things going in Minnesota there, bud? Well, let's read a little. Somalis reportedly scamming Minnesota blind and allegedly sending some of the fund to Islamic terrorists. This is from the Daily Caller. Somalis are allegedly looting Americans' coffers, according to the City Journal report published Wednesday. Federal counterterrorism sources confirm that millions of dollars in stolen funds have been sent back to Somalia, where they ultimately landed in the hands of terror group Al-Shabaab. Ryan Thorpe and Christopher Rufo claim. Thorpe and Rufo cite an anonymous source who alleges the largest funder of Al-Shabaab in Minnesota is the taxpayer. City Journal report cites that about 40% of households in Somalia receive remittances from abroad, totaling $1.7 billion in remittances in 2023, which is fucking ridiculous on its own right. Tax these remittances at 100%. You want to come to this country? Fine. Not fine, actually. But one of the things we should do, if they're here, is you don't get to send money back home. Sorry. You're going to keep it in the country. City Journal claims that some of this money has been directed to an even more troubling destination, the Al-Qaeda-linked Islamic terror group Al-Shabaab. According to multiple law enforcement sources, Minnesota's Somali community has sent untold millions through a network of hawalas, informal clan-based money traders, that have wound up in the coffers of Al-Shabaab. How did these taxpayer-funded reportedly end up in the hands of terrorist-sympathizing Somalis in the first place? The Somali community means of alleging defrauding the state were many, according to City Journal. Minnesota's Medicaid housing stabilization services began with the goal of providing for housing for senior citizens and the mentally ill and drug addicts, among other. Thorpe and Rufo claim it was designed with low barriers to entry and minimal requirements for reimbursement. The DOJ announced fraud charges on September 18th for a score of Somalis alleged involved in defrauding the Housing Stabilization Services Program. And here's a bunch of names I'm going to have trouble pronouncing, but you see them there. I want to be clear on the scope of this crisis. What we see are schemes stacked upon schemes, draining resources from those in need. It feels never ending. I've spent my entire career as a fraud prosecutor, and the depth of fraud in Minnesota has taken my breath away. The fraud must be stopped, Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson said in a statement. The DOJ accused the defendants of obtaining and misappropriating millions of dollars in program funds that were intended as reimbursements for services provided to aforementioned groups. Feeding Our Future was a Minnesota nonprofit funded in 2016. Its mission, according to a special review from the Minnesota's Office of Legislative Auditor, was to help youth and seniors access healthy food. It did this by claiming to sponsor 2 federal nutrition programs, the Child and Adult Food Program and the Summer Food Service Program. These programs provide reimbursements for meals and snacks for typically low-income children and adults. Sponsors are supposed to oversee food distribution sites. The organizations that Feeding Our Future sponsored were primarily owned and operated by members of Minnesota's Somali community, according to 2 former state officials with connections to law enforcement, said Rufo and Thorpe. Feeding Our Future rapidly expanded in 2020, increasing its number of sponsored sites amidst the COVID-19 lockdowns. At least, they claim they were increasing their sponsored sites. Instead, Feeding Our Future executive's employee allegedly carried out a $250 million fraud scheme, according to the DOJ. As of publication, 77 defendants have been charged for their alleged involvement in the scheme for crimes including wire fraud, bribery, money laundering, conspiracy. I took a brief look at some of these convicted by a jury. Feeding Our Future. Of the 53 people, 2 had non-Somali names: Amy Bach, founder and executive director of Feeding Our Future, and Sharon Ross. This is a brazen scheme of staggering proportions, said U.S. Attorney Andrew Luger of the District of Minnesota in 2022. These defendants exploited a program designed to provide nutritious food to needy children during COVID-19. Instead, they prioritized their own greed, stealing more than $250 million in federal funds to purchase luxury cars, houses, jewelry, and coastal resort property abroad. Feeding Our Future's rapid expansion in 2020 attracted attention from Minnesota officials. In turn, Feeding Our Future cried racial discrimination in a lawsuit. That's the standard operating playbook for that cohort. When in doubt, claim racism, claim bias, said David Gaithier, a former Minnesota state senator and nonprofit leader, to City Journal. Even if the facts don't point to that, it allows for many folks in the middle or the center left to stay silent. And again, this is oftentimes what you see. You see corruption from the left. What's racism? Noticing how many people involved in this story that were corrupt were from the Somalian community. Well, that's racism. And so what happens, just like the grooming scandals in the UK, people say, ooh, we can't touch that then. Because the worst thing is you don't want to be called a racist. Fuck you. Fuck you. correctly pointing out these crimes isn't racism. Fuck you. Learn to not give a shit about that word anymore. Fuck you. They have overused the word racism to the point that it's ludicrous. Minnesota is home to the largest Somali diaspora in the United States. They form a critical voting bloc, as evidenced by Democratic Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey's shameless pandering to Somalis in the state. So politicians are understandably reticent to criticize Somali-led organization. Several individuals involved in Feeding Our Future scheme donated to or appeared publicly with Ilhan Omar, the Somali-born congresswoman from Minneapolis. Omar's deputy district director, Ali Is, advocated on behalf of Feeding Our Future. Omar Fattah, the state senator who ran for mayor, lobbied Governor Tim Walz in support of the program. One of the accused, Abdi Nur Salah, served as the senior aide to Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. Federally funded autism services were exploited. You get the picture. Now we see the mainstream media starting to pick up the story slightly. Where were they when Tim Walz was overseeing this? And there's an X account that's claiming to be actual people from Human Services there in Minnesota that were reporting to Tim Walz saying, there's fraud going on here. Now, how is it that the vetting for a vice presidential candidate was so poorly done that our mainstream media was unable to pick up this story? How's that possible? I mean, they could pick up any fucking story about J.D. Vance, any story about Donald Trump, but somehow they missed this. Dustin Grange over on X. He says, most people can't comprehend just how bad the media was in Minnesota. It's a total monopoly. You saw at the moment Tim Walz joined Kamala Harris on the Democrat ticket. He was a shockingly awful choice for vice president. The truth is he came in completely unvetted because nothing ever broke through the media island here in Minnesota. But that bubble's finally burst, and now Republicans have a real path to bring the state back to sanity. All you have to do is show up and get involved. And then I think I have one more post on this. This is an account worth following. So here we have Minnesota Department of Human Services employees. This is the official, as far as I know, Department of Human Services account for Minnesota. We are over 480 staff at the Minnesota Department of Human Services with pride and commitment towards our goals of public transparency. Here's one of the posts they have, and I'll share this with you, so please go follow them if you're interested in this story, which you should be. As unbelievable as this sounds, Minnesota taxpayers have been a significant funder of overseas conflicts and terrorism sponsorship groups. We became aware of the Minnesota DHS funds were being defrauded and remitted overseas roughly in 2014 through the Child Care Assistance Program. These overseas recipients were primarily based in Somalia, but we are aware that some of the funds were likely directed to groups such as ISIS via recruitment activities at various community colleges in Minnesota. Unfortunately, recruiters were targeting young adults who were impressionable and vulnerable. Millions of taxpayer dollars were subsequently funneled out of our state. As Minnesotans, our state certainly doesn't benefit from tax dollars going overseas, let alone to conflict-affected regions and ultimately the most vulnerable Minnesotans who lost out and never got the help they needed, perpetuating the disparities and generational harm. Now, we could talk more about this story and other stories that you like. I'll say this before I get to Super Chats and then open up the call-in lines. We saw through Doge, and some good things happened with Doge, but not nearly enough, just how corrupt so much of these federal programs and funding are that goes out. It is insane the amount of tax dollars that go out, that goes to groups that are antithetical to the things that you believe. Whether it be left-wing organizations that want to root out Christianity, enforce push fucking trans ideology and a bunch of shit like that on children, or it be actual terror groups, as we're seeing here. The exploitation is immense. This story checks all the boxes. In part, they get away with it because people are afraid to do anything because more racism, so no one can actually call them out. The media covering up for someone who would be a national level politician, VP candidate Tim Walz, who was aware of this and did nothing. It happened under his administration. Coming out after it no longer matters to the national political scene, and all of a sudden begrudgingly covering the story. COVID-19 programs expanding that actually went for huge transfer of wealth to people that were using the money in fraudulent ways. The only people that really get fucked with all this are Joe Schmo taxpayer. The truth is the system's set up to provide shit for poor people that are reliant on the state and to make sure that the wealthy people know how to exploit the system through loopholes and through like places like Walmart, for example. Well, if you give a bunch of subsidized payments to poor people that then shop in your stores, wow, great. All of a sudden, huge transfer of wealth to you, the very wealthy. And who gets fucked in all of it? The working class. More and more, you're told that you have to pay to support people that have nothing to do with you. Many times that actively fucking hate you for your religion, for your skin color, for your political beliefs. No more. Now, it's a positive thing that Trump's come out and spoken aggressively. In fact, with Somalia specifically, I forget the name of the thing, but he revoked sort of the temporary protective that, Somalians were allowed to be here. But it's not near enough. Make no mistake about it. If we ever had an honest-to-goodness audit of taxpayer dollars, this story's going to be more of the norm than the exception. That's the truth. Corruption, waste, fraud, it's out of control. And there's always another excuse for why you, the working class, have to pay more. You're racist, you're greedy, shut up, pay more. Now our tax dollars are going directly to Al-Qaeda in more ways than one, by the way. So, all right, let's put out the link. There you go for the call-in show.
My favorite part.
Oh, yeah. And then super chats. Our good man, How Long Nate, $10 says greetings from the top of the Montana. I think I saw Mystery's giant satellite dish for the Crucible Data Network. Ah, yes. Mystery always has things on. And then Lucas Zapan, $20 says W Rob, W Everest. Thank you.
So you know who Lucas Zapan is, right?
No. Well,
so
yes.
Lucas
What's
Zapan is the guy that does the Feminist Champion song on YouTube. The one that Andrew played. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he was also another guy that stayed in the mansion at the debate con. Great guy.
Nice. No, I met him down there, but I didn't know he did that song. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Lucas. The link's pinned there, and
we let the callers get in.
We're waiting for the callers to get in, and I know what the show needs. I feel the problem is
you're gonna beat me to it. This is crazy. I can't believe you're beating me through these things.
The problem is I think that the callers just don't know what the show is.
This is the robnoerr Show,
and we'll get to the callers.
It's not the Rob Show.
Lucas Zapan special.
This is my favorite show because it is my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more. But maybe that's just because it was your show. But it's not your show. It's the robnoerr Show.
Oh man, that's so good.
Well.
Oh. What? No. There's more?
It's still going? That's impossible. Impossible.
This is the robnoerr Show. It's not the
Now, someone says, do I think Brian Shapiro's unhinged? So I just started looking at him. I don't even know of him. But yeah, he seems pretty fucking unhinged. So, all right. So we only have one caller in right now, but it's a good one. So remember, it's pinned at the top if you want to call in. We can talk about anything you like. We can talk about the topic that we just talked about. Or if you want to talk about any bullshit drama, I guess I'm okay with that. If you want to talk about other stories, this Venezuelan attack, the Epstein files. I shouldn't even say that. Talk about the Epstein files. Avarice, do you want to know what my opinion on the Epstein files is?
Yeah, what is it?
You're right, whoever you are that's worried about this is the only issue that ever matters, and my entire show should be in perpetuity, me talking about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. So if what you could do is replay this 1 minute over and over again, you can see me say Trump's really bad for how he's handling the Epstein thing, and we should criticize him with every waking breath that we ever have. Don't worry about feeding your family. Don't worry about supporting them. Don't worry about taking care of yourself whatsoever. All that matters is Trump Epstein. So will you join me in saying Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein. There you go. That's 55 seconds. The minute will be complete here soon. Please put that in replay for the rest of the show. Thank you.
Oh, man, if I knew I had options for that button.
No, don't that'd be crazy.
Oh my.
No, we could talk
about...
it's
the Trump Epstein button. I see it now.
So any topic people want to talk about, as long as it's within terms of service, totally cool with. You can talk about my stupidity in attempting to get a new computer. You could talk about Word War if you have any questions with that, or anything else.
I'm in the back now, so if it's more contentious and you actually want to come up to disagree with Rob, just write it in the private chat so I can jump you to the front of the line. And I know who the regulars are, so I know how this lines up. Mickey, I'm looking at you. Fallen Heathen, I'm also looking at you.
Well, Fallen Heathen's already in, so he's going to be the first caller.
This is saying prospectively, I can think of all these people. But you know what? These are also the people I appreciate. I want to, before we go to the back, let's just add out. You were called out for having the same people call in. And let's start. These are the people that make the show.
That's right. I totally agree. Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about at the beginning. Like, the community that we build here is amazing. Now, having said that, some lefty out there wants to call in. I promise you, you can call me a fat fuck, this and that, like most lefties want to do. No problem. Like, as long as you don't spurg out and you let me talk as well, feel free to call in. You can disagree with me about anything. You can call in and bitch about Trump, whatever. That's fine by me.
You know, the funny part is, I think I make fun of you for being fat more than they do.
Yes! I certainly, yeah. Well, it's not a bad thing. It's a good reminder that I need to lose weight. So
that's why we're starting the new regiment.
That's right. You'll see. We're gonna
get
before you
them.
know it, Avarice and me are gonna look like fucking Marte. You know.
Yeah, you guys got to pay for us to get into massively good shape.
Yes, there you go. So, all right, we're gonna bring up our first caller. But remember, the link's pinned above on YouTube there if you want. So our first caller, one of my favorite people to talk to, our good friend Fallen Heathen. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was amazing. It was always a good time to hang out with family, and yeah, it was particularly good this year. So
yeah, we'll get that fat fuck thing under control, dude.
That's right. If you could tell people, like, the first time I ever interacted with you, you actually like, sort of gave me some advice on X, on how, like, dietary advice and things to do to get in shape.
Yeah, you were complaining about your back, and I've suffered with back pain for a long time. That's actually what led to my, opiate addiction. And a lot of it is diet and stretching, dude. You sit a lot for work and stuff all day. Your hamstrings get tight. So stretching and getting your diet on point, getting some weight off would really help out with your back.
That's the plan, right? So I'm gonna start trying to. I think that for me, and I don't know if you've talked to people like that are struggle with losing weight or with things of that nature. I think that a lot of things in my life, the problem is that I actually am fucking weak in the sense that I need someone to help motivate me. And so the good things that happen to me in life, I think a lot of it's because, like, my wife has motivated me. Or when I debated, my coach motivated me. And with that, I was able, you realize that there's sort of a team and that you're not alone and that people are helping you out. So I think that that's one of the big things that this time, what I'm really going to do is try to actually like pay a trainer to help me out and to keep me on task to be like, okay, man, this is what we need to do. Here's the plan this week, you know?
Yeah, but being held accountable 100% helps out with anything. You know, I've always said that out of all the addictions out there, heroin, you know, alcohol, food addiction's by far the hardest one. And it's because like I didn't need heroin, you know, to survive. You need food to survive. So every day you're being forced to use your vice controllably, right? Like make the right decisions. It's not like I went from using a bunch of heroin to a little bit a day. Like I just completely abstinent from that.
Right.
But you can't do that with you know, food addiction. I'm not saying you're addicted, but you obviously have bad habits like many of us. You know, it's easier to go and grab a cheeseburger and a Coke than cook up a steak and, you know, a bowl of vegetables.
I'll tell you what, like one of the biggest things for me that I know is I eat when I'm bored. Yeah. Right. So if I have downtime, that's
a lot of addicts is when they're bored and they have too much idle time and they're like, fuck it, let's get loaded.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. So like I'll be good all day and then it'll be like, 7 at night. Right. And it'll be like, oh, I got some time before I come up and get ready for the show. And it's like you're sitting there watching a movie. And the next thing you know, without even thinking about it, it's like, I got a fucking bag of chips. And I'm just sitting there like mindlessly. And I'm like, I don't even think I'm hungry. I'm just doing it because it's like pattern, you know?
Well, a lot of those junk foods work on the same, parts of your brain that drugs do. The dopamine spike, sugary treats and stuff like that work on those same parts of your brain. But once you get away from the carbs and the sugars for a while, you'll look at stuff like that and be like, God, how did I drink that every day? Or how was I always craving, ding dongs or whatever it is. And you'll completely reverse your eating habits. But it's hard to stick with it, dude, because I made that video calling you out, and since that video, I put on 30 pounds. Like I ballooned up after the summer in the last couple months. So I got to get my ass back on.
Well, and even when you did that video of me, I was good for like a week and a half. I was like following your advice, and then another thing that always happens with me is I'll have a bad day, right? So let's say, and by bad day I mean something like this, like, oh, I have a good diet, and then it's Thanksgiving. And then you're at grandma's place and they're like, oh, try some of this pumpkin pie. You're like, what's it matter? One slice of pumpkin pie, not the end of the world. Then in my head, this is how I rationalize it. Well, I might as well eat like shit again tomorrow because I ate like shit today. So what's the point? Then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, you completely fell off. Now you're not, you know.
Yeah, no, I do the same thing. Like I'll be doing really good. I was in good shape over the summer, dude. I had abs. I don't think I've ever had abs in my whole life. And I was in good shape. And then, it's like, well, you're in good shape right now. One shitty meal ain't going to be a big deal. And then, it's Friday, it's Saturday. I'll get back on track on Monday. And you got some leftover cake from Friday and Saturday. And the next thing you know, you're right back where you started. No, I get it. And the thing, too, another excuse a lot of people use, but you can eat clean. Jesus, you can eat clean. People are like, I'm going out to dinner, so I'm going to eat like shit tonight. Well, anywhere you go, you can eat clean. You just got to cut out the sugar and the carbs. Just stay away from that crap.
Yeah, I agree. I know it's something that, like, I need to teach myself. And when I was eating good, I learned that as well. Even if it's something stupid, like, oh, you're meeting people. It's like, well, let's go to, Wendy's. It's like, yeah, they have salads. You can do all right. Like, you don't have to be the dude.
Just get a triple burger and toss the buns.
Right. Yep.
And get an iced tea, an unsweet iced tea. Like, it's pretty easy to do. And once you get in the habit of it, you'll get used to it. Well, I want to thank everyone for the prayers in the super chat for my mother-in-law. She's home now.
Good.
That was kind of a shitty ordeal, to deal with over Thanksgiving. She ended up losing most of her ring finger and part of her pinky, but she's alive. Yeah, it's wild. Like Final Destination type wild shit, dude.
That's crazy. So for those that, if you're just tuning in, she was in a car wreck there right before Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, a piece of lumber had fallen off a truck and then came through the windshield. And she said she saw it fall off the truck and like scooted out of the way, but her hand was on the steering wheel, so it hit her hand and then slid into the headrest by her head.
It's insane. So
insane.
So my father-in-law drives houses, oversized loads, right? So it's like they'll like sort of trailers that you see, except they're like basically double wides. So they'll each haul like half of this house. They're huge. And I remember a few years ago, the particular company he was working with at the time, you got to pick up some of these houses in winter, and here's what'll happen. Snow will lay on the top of the house, right? Then it'll like warm up a little, and the snow will start to melt, and then it gets cold. Now you got sheets of ice on these houses.
Yeah.
So you got the escort car, you'll be going behind it, and you'll see this ice come up. And this isn't some like, oh, a little ice ball. It's like a sheet of ice that will come off these houses. And he was arguing with this company like, this shit's fucking crazy. That's going to hit someone, and it's going to go through a windshield, and someone's going to get like dramatically hurt. And no, just get the house there. We don't have time. You know what I mean? Like, you know how companies are. It's always just the next unit, fucking let's go. Forget all that. And he's trying to explain to him, like, as the driver, it's my responsibility to make sure this is safe. If I take this on the road and if ice falls off and hurts someone, I'm responsible. And like, it was a big thing. And so I remember thinking like, yeah, like everyone assumes like all these trucks and stuff, like there's supposed to be safety and stuff, but anything could happen. And that scene from Final Destination 2, like behind the log truck, ever since I've seen that movie, every time I'm behind a log truck, I'm like, no, thank you. You know,
I mean, all kinds of stuff, like, concrete guys, they got a small piece of rebar that falls off the back of the truck and skips up off the road. That's a little, that would be an arrow piercing right through the car like butter. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I can't believe. So I'm glad she didn't get more hurt. I'm gled everything. I mean, it's still fucking crazy, but
So she lives in kind of a smaller town in Arizona. So they had to ship her out to Vegas to where they had the proper medical care for her. And my father-in-law had a stroke a couple years ago, so he's kind of disabled, I guess you could say. And she doesn't really like him driving, and she was really concerned about getting back in the car and having to drive the 2 hours from Vegas back to Arizona. And it's like, man, like just the PTSD of just going through that and then having to drive home with someone you didn't really feel comfortable with because it was kind of an ordeal. But she's home safe.
Well, but that's good.
I wanted to talk to you. I tried calling in the other day. You guys were talking about Destiny and stuff about the Second Amendment. It was kind of a conglomerate of stuff. Destiny's using the argument now that all the people that fight for the Second Amendment and say it's not for hunting, it's not for target shooting, it's to fight against a tyrannical government, can't say shit anymore because they're not using it to fight against a tyrannical government. And it's like, well, the side that argues it that way isn't the side that thinks we have a tyrannical government right now. So that's like a new talking point he's using.
Well, here's the thing, right? On this subject, and even take Destiny out of it, I've heard this from people on our side. Go back to when Joe Biden's in office. So January 6th, after it happened, now I think it's been blown massively out of proportion, as I've argued a fucking billion times on here. But it is true. There were people that were like using this as a rallying cry. And so people would call into my show or be in the chat in my show, particularly being in the chat. I don't know if I did call-in shows back then. And they would be like, yeah, now's the time. Time to refresh the tree of liberty with the blood of tyrants. And I was like, think about what you're fucking saying, right? This is insane. Like, you're going to go to prison. That's what's going to happen. And rightfully so, if you're suggesting using these sort of tactics to attack. So yes, there have been people that have suggested shit like this, though I would turn that back on Destiny and like his little lackeys, like people like Connor. Connor, for example, said that if there is a fascist or a communist that's coming into power in the United States, that you would be a moral coward to not end their life. Politician. Then, of course, he claims that the policies of Trump are fascist in nature. However, he claims Trump's too stupid to be a fascist. Now, he does this full well knowing that almost every Democrat is calling Trump a fascist. So he says, you should kill fascists. But I'm saying Trump's doing fascist shit. He's just too stupid to be a fascist. But here's all the Democrats saying he's a fascist. And I am telling you should kill fascists. And Destiny, the same way. All Republicans should fear for their lives to go out in public, etc., etc. What they're doing is gaslighting people. Or I don't want to say gaslighting. They're sort of putting it out there that if someone does something real shitty and commits an act of violence, well, so be it. But it ain't going to be them. Their coward asses aren't going to be the ones that throw their life away, right? Yeah. So it's actually them that fall guilty of this. And the other thing is, people fundamentally misunderstand. The Second Amendment isn't there because the primary purpose of it isn't that you will have to use your guns in order to push back against tyranny. It is the fact that you own guns makes tyranny less likely to come.
Yeah, it's a deterrent.
That's the point. It's a deterrent,
Yeah.
right? And there are different levels of when you can say is tyrannical government. There's shit that I would say that Trump's done that's pseudo-tyrannical, that Biden did that was tyrannical, that Bush did that was tyrannical, that Clinton did, that Obama did, right? But it doesn't rise to the level of the violence being necessary. The problem is, if we give up the Second Amendment, what ends up happening is that the tyrannical impulses that we already see will become so much worse, exponentially worse, right? And so Destiny's saying that, the Second Amendment, people that advocate for it that aren't out there going against tyrannical governments, this is because Destiny heavily blows up what he thinks Trump is, because he's a fucking lunatic with Trump derangement syndrome, right? And so therefore he assumes that this is tyrannical, but other governments such as Joe Biden weren't, because he is selective and because, let's be honest, he's a fucking piece of shit. That's what he is. So he's just goading people that say that they believe in the Second Amendment to say, oh, actually you don't, because I choose to say that Trump is a fascist, he's a tyrant, he's et cetera, et cetera. But you can see that Destiny is a piece of shit with a double standard that will have no problem advocating threats against Republicans or saying that he wishes they fear for their life, et cetera. But it's all justified when he does it. It's all justified if the Biden administration does things that are considered tyrannical. So fuck him. His opinion on this matter means very little to me.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I was listening to Chink and what's his nephew's name, Hassan. They had a Thanksgiving thing, and I was listening to another channel that was covering it. And Chink seems to think that a lot of people on the right are starting to adopt more left-wing policies, and those are kind of the people that he's interacting with now that are on the right, more of the anti-war, medical, free healthcare and stuff like that. Because I'll be honest with you, I'd rather people have some sort of socialized healthcare than spending billions of dollars overseas, in war zones and stuff like that. So do you think that more right-wing people are starting to adopt more left-wing policies, or is that just where the right's really always been? It just seems like the political poles have shifted over the last 20 years.
I think that it depends on how you define right and left.
Yeah.
Right. So if I define right as fiscally conservative, sure, there's a lot of people that are becoming less fiscally conservative. Trump is not a fiscal conservative.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're on the right and you're a Trump supporter, chances are you're making excuses for the large amount of spending Trump did in his first administration and will do in this administration. So you could say, is that the right adapting more policies of left? Theoretically, you could say that, right? On this point specifically, if I had to make a choice, like, here's $10 million. Do you want that $10 million to go to food programs for poor people in the country, housing subsidies, etc.? Or do you want it to go overseas to some foreign group? Of course, I would say here domestically. However, the real answer is that this is sort of a terrible choice, right? The real answer is stop fucking taxing and spending us.
Yeah.
That's the real answer. So yes, I'm for a limited social safety net. But don't fall into the impulses of saying, like, well, here's the deal. If we had to, here's $100 million that we're spent in this overseas program. Wouldn't it be better if we spent that here on libraries that teach a bunch of trans stuff to children? No. Yes, it technically would be better, but no, the answer is stop spending it.
Does it have to be an and or?
No, I think that that's exactly my point. That we can say, no, the best answer is to cut taxes, pay down the national debt, massively cut the size of government. That's but yes, I agree. There are people, if I had to choose, look, I'm not a total ANCAP. I'm not a total libertarian. So I'm okay with some forms of limited social safety nets. The problem is, as we covered with the Somalian story here in Minnesota, it's out of control. It's rife with fraud. People are abusing the system. Right? It's not supposed to be a way of life. That's not what welfare programs are supposed to be. It's supposed to be something that helps people that are through whatever means unable to help themselves. So maybe I have no problem saying this person's severely autistic. Yeah, they're probably going to take more out in resources of taxation than they'll ever put in. But I'm okay with that, right? Because the way that person was born, it's different, right? That's different than able-bodied people that are using this as a way of life. For the able-bodied person, welfare system, things like food stamps, etc., it should be something temporary for an emergency. And that's okay. We've all been there. I've been there myself. I'm very lucky. I have a family network that if I fall in hard times, I have people that would look out for me. Not everyone has that. So I totally get you fall in hard times, you need help with food and stuff, no problem. We should limit what you get with that food, right? You shouldn't be able to get fucking soda and potato chips, but okay, fine. We're helping you out temporarily. But you have to attempt to do something. You have to attempt to actually work, right? Because what happens is our good nature of this saying, of course, we help people out. Then it becomes exploited. And try this yourself, right? Try this yourself. I live in an area where there's not really any homeless people. But go to a city, like, it's always amazes me, the brief stints that I go into the city. And I remember, like, this is a true story. When I was, like, 12, we went out to Pittsburgh for school at a place called the Carnegie Science Center. It's cool as a kid. I've taken my son there. It's cool. It's a big thing with, it's almost like a museum with a bunch of cool sciencey stuff. It's neat. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And my mom gave me $50. And she's like, stop at the gift store and get something cool from the Science Center. So I come home. I'm 12 years old. She's like, what'd you get? I was like, well, nothing. And she's like, what'd you spend your money on? You know what I did? There was a homeless man outside the building. I gave him the $50. Felt terrible. That's still who I am to my core. I see homeless people and I'm like, but go ahead and try this, right? Give the same homeless person money over and over and over again and see what happens, right? Then stop one day and see what happens. You're going to be the asshole. Either that person will get mad at you or other people will say, hey, why are you giving him and not me? And all of a sudden you quickly see that when you're being generous like that, people will exploit it. It's human nature. It's sad. You want to think that like, no, people aren't like that, right? Now, take that and magnify it by fucking 1,000,000 times. That's the government. It's so much easier to exploit too. You pay your money into this huge Byzantine system of the government. Okay, here's my taxes. And they're like, yeah, you'll get shit and benefit. We'll help poor people. We'll do all this. And then everybody's getting a piece of this money. People are committing fraud. Look at the fucking PPP loans under COVID. I mean, they estimate that something like 20% of that money was fraudulent. Yeah. Billions upon billions of dollars when people were the most vulnerable. And so it's like, what happens is it's all this bullshit, right? It's all this bullshit that's like takes advantage of our good nature. And it's every one of these systems. Immigration, it's another thing. Of course, you're fleeing an area where you were, the local government was trying to kill you. Of course, come on in. Okay, I guess you can bring your wife. Okay, yeah, of course, you bring your kids. Okay, I guess your in-laws. Okay, I guess their neighbors. Okay, I guess everyone in the region. And at some point, you're like, whoa. What the fuck's going on? That's where we're at. It is not ethical to force people through penalty of law to pay into a system that then people exploit. Bullshit. Our government should be making sure that money, to the best of, obviously there's always going to be some small levels of fraud because it's human nature and it's impossible, right? There will always be a murder. There will always be a theft. Of course, you'll never have utopia. But my goodness, the fraud that exists in our system is absurd. And the thank you, OTW. I appreciate the raid, man. Really do. It's absurd. And the idea that we're given this binary choice that's false, that's like, well, would you rather spend the money overseas or would you rather spend it on poor people back here? Of course, if I had to choose between those two, that's what I would choose. But the correct answer is that I fucking want to stop spending the money. That's the answer.
Right on. All right, man. I'm freezing. I agree with you. I'm freezing though. I'm gonna get back to work. I'm gonna hold you accountable with your diet, dude. You gotta hold me accountable too, brother.
All right, man. So I think I weigh 260 pounds right now. I'll be giving updates, and I won't be able to cheat because hopefully you see whether or not I'm losing weight or not. But I appreciate it, man.
Even watching your older clips and stuff like that, you've lost a lot of weight even leading up to now.
When I quit my old job and started working, I probably lost 20 pounds. And since then, and the primary reason for that is when you're at work and you're responsible for making food for the people you're working with that are autistic and stuff, you tend to eat what they're eating. And quite frankly, it was garbage. That's the truth. And you try, people are like, no, give them good options. But it's so hard with someone it's hard to rationalize with them. Like, here's why you should choose the baked potato instead of the half a bag of potato chips.
Yeah.
It's hard for someone that doesn't really understand. To them, it's like that dopamine of that quick snack fix. And so I ate like that. I eat like shit as well. So
and the unfortunate part is a lot of those things would benefit from high, like a carnivore style diet and
Yeah.
stuff. Seeing a lot of benefit with autistic people and stuff in that. All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, man. Always a pleasure.
Goodbye.
Everybody, please go check out Fallen Heathen's channel. Oh, that's the wrong button here. Here is the link to it, so go check it out. He's a great dude. Now we're going to skip a little in the order. Reminder, we're only at 25% of the super chats. Avarice, you're not going to believe this, dude. Before we get to the next caller. 2 days ago, I'm just fucking perusing comments on my channel. Some of them are like, oh, you did great in this debate. And others are like, you could have did this. And some are like, you're a fat piece of shit. But this one hurt the most. 2 days ago, I couldn't believe that I read this. This guy, Austin Hall, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Can you believe this? 2 days ago said that $357 a day is not just unreasonable, highly unreasonable, laugh out loud. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah, you're right. GG says this guy, look, he says, this guy never stopped so much. At some point, it's got to be personal for this guy.
How dare a man make a living?
Every 2 days ago, this guy says this. And so let's show this piece of shit. I'm sorry, that's a bit much.
How do you feel about that?
It's all fun. Yeah, thank you, Jake. Yeah. It's all fun to use I'm not trying to call the dude a piece of shit. That's a bit much. But anyways, this devious bastard, Austin Hall. Let's show him who's boss. Get those donos in, right? Don't make me call Andrew and have him activate the dono bots. Right? We all know that's what goes on in this channel. The dono bots, the bastard. You know.
How dare! Let's send in the bots. Hold on, I'm gonna go in the back now.
Get them programmed.
Oh,
here comes the first one. Bandit $2 says you're gonna have to raise the goal for new clothes. What? Yeah, I am gonna get a fitted suit. So for Word War. So
well, the funny part is I was actually watching in your somewhere in your Discord. Someone had the raw bots versus the tomatoes. I thought that was a pretty funny picture.
Yes, it's a very good.
Yeah.
Now. We're going to get to the next caller. I'm going to go a little out of order because I saw someone
lost their place in line. I didn't
yes.
Do you want me to start throwing them back in line if they drop out really quick?
No. I usually catch up on it and otherwise. So all right, we're going to bring in the next caller, but keep those donos coming in.
Peace.
Dono bots assembled. See, are we on, man? My mod bots on it. There we go. But got an iron I obtained. $5 says beep, boop, beep. Thank you. Dono bot number 1. Appreciate it. All right. Next up, we got Genome Editor. What's up, Genome? How you doing?
Ronnie. It's Vince from ShamWow here.
Oh, no shit! How you doing?
I was actually hoping...
It's ShamWow!
Yes, it's Vince. We did an extravaganza episode. It was a pleasure to meet you, man. How you doing today?
I listened to your show at work. And I was actually hoping that I could talk to the sexy-sounding chick that you have on there a lot. I think she might be married to the mentally disabled Orange Lantern Chad you've got there.
Oh, well, she's never on.
Spiro or something.
Oh, you're talking about Spiro. Yeah, Spiro's not on right now. Actually, a dude, believe it or not. So So I saw it picked up. Now, you announced this on our show on the extravaganza, but running for Congress, right?
Yeah. Yeah, thank God I'm not in his district.
Yeah. Tell us a little about it.
About who's this?
You're running for Congress, right?
No. I'm not actually him. It was a joke. That's why I called you Ronnie.
You piece of shit. You kind of sound like him. Unbelievable.
Oh, really?
A little bit. I believe it.
I'll definitely take that as a compliment.
Yeah. I mean, now I can tell you're not him listening. This is one of the worst things. I'm so fucking gullible. Now, it's not beyond fucking belief.
Oh, I fell for it too. Don't worry. Yeah. It was a double.
The Ronnie really got me. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what sold it, right? Yeah.
No. Can you, never mind. I was going to say, you'll love my nuts, but don't, please just spare it. Don't say it. That was one of Vince Shamwell guy's things from the Slap Chop commercial. But yeah, how cool was that? He announced on the extravaganza that he was running for Congress. And I'm supposed to get back with him. He actually does want to do another show. So I'll probably, before too long, on my own show here, I'll be talking to Vince the ShamWow guy. So look at this.
awesome.
Spiro says, I guess I could come on or something, but no Disney whips on. We'll have Spiro on again soon. I know he's been busy, but if he's going to get called out by ShamWow guy impersonators, oh my goodness. So what's on your mind today? You're driving or something? What's going on? Your internet shit? You keep dropping out in the back there?
I watched that debate and basically screamed into the void the entire time.
Which debate?
The one that I keep spamming in the chat. Good
Godless
Logic
and
Andrew Branca.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. I knew what would happen, right? So first off, I won't interact with Soy Pill until I see fit because
he's a piece of crap.
Yeah,
he's a complete piece of crap.
He photoshopped something in order to get in a conversation with me. Anyways, Wick, same thing. I choose not to do Wick show, but I wish neither of them ill. Good luck to both of them. I don't care. But yeah, I knew what that was going to be. I mean, the topic was basically, is Trump responsible for the shooting of those 2 National Guard members there in D.C.? It's fucking ludicrous.
Well, that's what it was supposed to be.
Right, but then it was just Destiny spurging out.
Yeah, and they went way off topic. It was just, Trump is bad.
Yeah, of course.
Everything Trump does is bad.
Bandit $2 says, I wanted ShamWow guy versus Spiro drama. Yes, I agree. Bandit $2 says, disappointed. The Hercules beam. That's a great one. You know how that came about? The disappointed beam. I didn't know this. My friend told me this. The script said that Hercules was supposed to be disappointed, and Kevin Sorbo just read the line. They're like, fuck it, leave it in. So yeah, that's why he just randomly yells, disappointed. He was supposed to act disappointed. So there you go. Yeah, I'll have to check out that debate. Maybe I will review that tonight,
One of the things that came up in it that I don't know, I want to get out there because, I'm tired of screaming at my dashboard in the morning on my way into work. But is they're excusing the BLM stuff and the Democrats' complicity by saying that, Joe Biden condemned BLM violence. And it's like, they point to J6, right? And we're supposed to apologize every 5 minutes, 1,000 times indefinitely, right? For one freaking riot that happened. Whereas they had, 900 something, 1,000, more than 1,000 by now?
It's all bullshit. It's always different for them. Right, like all you have to do is like, this is them. If someone comes out and goes, oh yeah, by the way, I condemn that. It's like, well, good enough. Unless it's Trump, unless it's people connected.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, that's no good. That's no good. You need to do more. Like for example, you can see after Charlottesville, Trump condemns white supremacy. Speech 1, not enough. Trump specifically calls out the KKK, etc. Not enough. Speech 3, or that's speech 2. Now on to speech 3. Trump specifically says, look, there are fine people on both sides. Clearly not the KKK and stuff. They're bad. Not enough. It's never enough. Always needs to do more. How many times did he condemn white supremacy, David Duke, etc.? Didn't matter. He had to do it again and again and again and again. Meanwhile, Black Lives Matter is rioting all over the place. Kamala Harris is promoting a bail fund for them. And they're like, yeah, but at one point we have this one quote where she said, oh, by the way, I condemn the violence. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Now it's all good. Fuck these people. It's clear that the bad faith pieces of shit Destiny himself said that it was legitimate, that the violence was legitimate. I played the clips the other day. He said that violence or rioting is the other side of the coin to voting, as long as it's against public institutions. So fuck them. Don't care.
Yeah, we have to apologize 1,000 times for one thing. They have to apologize once for 1,000 things.
Yeah. So it's ridiculous. Well, all right, man. I got other calls. I might check out that debate tonight. I don't know. I wanted to do a debate review at some point this week, so maybe that'll be the show.
It was a complete shit show. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't watch it.
Yeah, but that's what people want to see, sort of the commentary on the complete shit show. So, all right, man. Well, hey.
I have one more. Can I say one more thing before I go? Which is just that I think you guys are a little bit off on the right wing going more away from like libertarianism and fiscal conservatism. I think it's just pragmatism, right? Like I get in arguments with lawbertarians all the time, and I think what lawbertarians do is they don't. I think literally are the meme. They don't understand per capita. So they, everything has to be exactly perfect or they reject it. And I think that does more damage than good. Whereas the rest of us are like, well, we have two options, so we have to choose. And so we choose what will work.
Yeah, I agree.
You
Now, I sympathize because I do respect where the libertarians are coming from, that they at least, most of them that I deal with are coming from a principled approach. But I do think pragmatism has to play into it. And so, for example, many of the libertarians I talk to, like Fabian and Casimir, both of them were like, yeah, we support Donald Trump for president. Doesn't mean they won't criticize him. But I think that there are certain things, even outside the perspective of that, like, for example, say what you want about Tucker Carlson and like shit about his foreign policy or Candace Owens or Nick Fuentes or whatever. Like Tucker has been out there for a long time, since at least like 2017, criticizing sort of corporatism in the United States, right? One of the famous clips. Let's see if I can find this. Actually, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's about self-driving cars.
Okay, sorry.
So this is from November 11th.
Oh, I remember that one.
This is a long time ago this happened, but this was reposted September 11th. It reminded me of this, right? Let me bring it up.
Yeah, I think he's wrong about that, but I remember that.
So
Yeah.
Tucker, who I think represents sort of a newer form of conservatism, says, here again is the divide between Tucker's idea of conservatism and Shapiro's economic libertarians presents itself. Instinctively and correctly, Tucker favors allegiance to the American people over religious adherence to an economic system. And let's hear what's said here. Now, this is from like 2017 or something.
Would you, Tucker Carlson, be in favor of restrictions on the ability of trucking companies to use this sort of technology specifically to, sort of artificially maintain the number of jobs that are available in the trucking industry?
Are you joking? In a second. In a second. In other words, if I were president, when I say to DOT, to Department of Transportation, we're not letting driverless trucks on the road, period. Why? Really simple. Driving for a living is the single most common job for high school educated men in this country, in all 50 states. By the way, that's the same group whose wages have gone down by 11% over the past 30 years. The social cost of eliminating their jobs in a 10-year span, 5-year span, 30-year span is so high that it's not sustainable. So the greater good is protecting your citizens from, look, capitalism is the best economic system I can think of, I think that anyone's ever thought of, but that doesn't mean that it's a religion and everything about it is good.
No, but
there's no Nicene Creed of capitalism that I have to buy into. What I care about is living in a country where decent people can live happy lives, actually. And so, no, I would say immediately, no, are you joking? And I maybe would make up some pretext for public consumption, like, oh, they're dangerous. The technology is not quite finessed. No. But the truth would be, I don't want to put 10 million men out of work because you're going to have 10 million dead families, and the cascading effect from that will wreck your country.
So the point is, why I'm bringing it doesn't matter who you agree with there. Obviously, Shapiro, if you watch it further, he's sort of against Tucker's principle here. But the old sort of conservative principle of like free markets, that's clearly against free markets, right? Clearly being like, no, I don't think these businesses should be allowed to use this technology that would save them money. I disagree, right? Again, wherever you fall on any side of that argument, I think this is sort of what Fallen Heathen's getting to some extent, that there is a new form of conservatism that's forming that isn't necessarily adherent to like complete free market principles like maybe you would have expected in the past.
Yeah, for sure. And he, like you're saying, he hasn't really changed. So like nobody should be surprised. Mm-hmm. But like I definitely disagree, and I could argue for hours about real libertarianism.
Yeah. Well, yes, I completely get it. Right. Like, would you call yourself a libertarian? You wouldn't, right? You're against them.
No, I'm definitely libertarian, but
okay.
But I'm not a big L libertarian, lawbertarian. Like I define
it's a weird thing. Like libertarians are fucking crazy, right? Where it's if you take that label and they don't think you're one, they'll fucking flip out. Like, you're not a real libertarian, which I get it, right? It's sort of like how we would do with like, you're not a real Christian. What are you talking about? Right? It's interesting, but it makes
Yeah,
sense when you understand that that's people's sort of philosophical and moral lens throughout how they view, not just government and economics, but also the world through, so.
yeah. I define libertarianism as supporting policies that will affect the most liberty. And if you choose to go down the purity spiral, right, you're never going to get policies that do anything towards liberty. You're just going to get a bunch of Democrats that ratchet forward.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I agree. I think that you do have to make pragmatic decisions. I totally agree with that. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I'll let you go. I got other calls to get to. It's a pleasure, though. So,
thank you, sir.
Go market some more ShamWows or whatever. So, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
I'm gonna go edit some genomes.
There you go. Take it easy, man. All right. Remember, get those super chats in, folks. Trying to get to $357 today. Don't make me deploy the monetary chat bots, as we like to do here on this channel, apparently. So goes the accusation. Just checking a couple stories here. Nothing I see. Too new. All right. Next caller. James, how you doing today, man?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. How's it going?
Great. I've been watching you for several months now, and I've been enjoying being here. I had a couple questions today.
Thank you. By the way, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.
Oh, and yeah, I guess I'm proof that not all of your callers are identical.
Yes. There you go. A new caller. How about that? Yeah, Genome Editor pretty new or rare as a caller as well. So yeah. And I thought it was the ShamWow guy. So there you go.
He got me too. So yeah. So, I tend to be gullible, so yeah, he got me.
I also sometimes gullible. So what's on your mind here today?
Did you see the news about the Trump administration cracking down on cartels? In one of the videos I was watching, he claimed their efforts on the waterways have reduced the cartel's incoming resources. I assume drugs. I wasn't sure, by 85%.
I did hear this. Yes, I have not looked into the data to see that, to know where they're getting those numbers, but yes, I did see that. And
Trump is kind of hinting that he would consider moving in on the cartels in Mexico, even if it meant going onto their territory, to get the remaining 15%. He seemed to be hinting that. Did you see that video too?
I did not see that, but I know that he's talked about this in the past.
I was kind of wondering, like, is his reasoning, like he's got to get this done before his administration is done, because it would be like good for his legacy, and also good, he'd be proud of it, because he's wondering how many wins can he really get before he's out of office.
Well, I think that that's part of it. Now, obviously, I would like to see him do more on the domestic front with corruption, the quote, drain the swamp mantra that he's had since 2016. If he really feels like he's under a time crunch, that's where I'd like to see him spend his time. But sure, I think part of it is that, yeah, he thinks that, like, yeah, there's things that I need to do through the executive that if I don't get accomplished now, it won't be accomplished in future administrations. I have questions about whether or not I support the United States military going in to Mexico to take out cartels. On one hand, my instincts are to say no, because I've seen this sort of thing play out over and over again in prior administrations with countries around the world. We're told we have to go in to fight dangerous people that are going to negatively affect the United States, whether it be Libya, whether it be Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, and on and on and on and on. And it ends up a disaster, and it ends up our service members that are putting themselves in harm's way. So that's part of it. However, if we're going to talk about this, and it's the same with Venezuela and the strikes on the boats, if we are going to have sort of U.S. military attacks, at least you can make a direct cause to be like, these people are literally coming into the United States. This isn't like Syria, where we have no evidence that Syrians under Assad are coming, or, whatever other group in Syria is coming into the United States, and we're literally protecting our border. So it's a little different. I still would hesitate to support Trump going in with boots on the ground to cartels. I would prefer to see him work with politicians, and if in Mexico, and if necessary, make strategic strikes remotely against people that are in these cartels. But it is undoubtable that the cartels do have a foothold in the United States, largely because of years upon years upon years of, let's be honest, administrations that were both Republican and Democrat that allowed basically what was tantamount to open borders and allowed these cartel members to thrive. And I don't see how it stops at this point without some sort of violence. And preferably state level violence, where we have sort of law enforcement or we have a military that are taking actions. But that's where I'm at. And in other words, my protest about strikes occurring in general are worse under any other administration. In fact, they're worse specifically with Trump bombing Syria than they would be with Trump taking out cartel members. So I still might hesitate to support it, but at least it's far more palpable than so much other shit I've seen. In theory. Now, how it plays out in practice will be very different. If it ends up like Biden administration, yay, we just took out dangerous cartel members and terrorists, and it turns out it's a fucking poor guy and his family, then it's different. So how it plays out in practice would be different. But that's generally my feelings on it.
It sounds like he's trying to keep the door open to working with the Mexican politicians.
Well, listen, I'm not going to claim to be an expert on politics in Mexico, but I don't think it's a stretch to say that many of these politicians may themselves be involved with the cartel.
Right. I don't know the percentage. It's probably high.
Right. So it becomes difficult because at this point, it's like, well, if you think the cartel has that much influence in Mexico, and I think we all agree they do, and the amount of political assassinations that occur in Mexico is actually fucking insane. So then it's like, okay, if you're like, well, we have to work with the administration there in order to solve these problems, but you think that the administration there is themselves in bed with the cartel, well, now you're in an impossible situation. So at some point you got to say, look, for the protection of our country, we're going to do this. I think that one thing that we could start with, and I think the Trump administration is doing this better by far than previous administrations, but needs to really ramp up, is how aggressively we target these cartel members and their assets domestically here in the United States. Like, increase the efforts to go after them, increase the punishments, etc. But if we need to, branch out and go after the cartels at home because they're using it in places like Mexico as a launching pad to bring in dangerous drugs or to bring in dangerous criminals into the United States, then I would say, yes, the principle should be, in general, we are allowed at that point to do something militaristically if the Mexican government's unwilling to cooperate for whatever reason.
What's kind of crazy is it almost feels like full circle because ICE is also involved with cartels to some extent.
Of course. Right. And it's like this cartel, it's been a problem for a long time. Like, one of the things you should try to do if you're debating people is argue why your position's correct within their value system. So when I debate a lot of lefties, I intuitively know they don't give a fuck about people like me or my way of life. They don't give a shit. I'm white. That's considered oppressor. I'm Christian. That's considered oppressor. Right. I'm a man. That's considered oppressor. So if you would say something, and it's sad that it comes to this, but if I said, like, did you know that cartels killed, 2,373 white men last year? They'd be like, we don't give a fuck about that at all. At all. Right? So one of the things you do is try to look at the groups that they do claim to care about. So that might be women. And it was like human rights organizations said that like 1/3 of women that try to cross the border illegally are sexually assaulted. And this is because like the coyotes they're using that are affiliated with the cartels are taking advantage of these people. They wouldn't give a fuck if it's white men that they were taking advantage of. Who cares? Who cares about them? So you try to put it in that. And we've known this for years. We've known that that's how bad the cartel system is down there. That's fucking horrific. 1 in 3 women being victims of sexual assault. It's horrendous. And we just turn a blind eye to it because, I don't know, more racism or some shit. We have to have the open borders. So, it's certainly a huge fucking problem, and it's negatively affecting the United States in serious ways. It's not just, it's fundamentally we need to get rid of all of these illegals, period. But yes, one of the key reasons is because there's so many that are working with or are members of these cartels.
Right. And then did you also see the news about the Trump administration pausing all legal and illegal immigration like indefinitely? Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's not what it said. So it's not
okay.
pausing. It said from particular countries, like third world countries.
So does Mexico count or no?
Probably not. I would say no. They're not going to include Trump just posting something on Truth Social is different than how the policy will be formulated and what the specific policy will be. So I have not heard any comments that we will no longer accept any immigration, like work visas, etc., from Mexico. I think this is directed more to places like Afghanistan and other countries of that nature.
The Middle East, mostly, then?
Pretty much. Now,
Africa,
careful,
maybe.
though. Afghanistan, technically not part of the Middle East, more Asia. That would be what, Central Asia,
really?
I think they got. Yeah.
Okay.
I only know this because it was a debate topic at one point. It depends. I don't much give a fuck. I know what you're talking about when you say Middle East, but some people, take umbrage at that. So
okay, I just had one last thing to tell you. So $357 a day might have been unreasonable in the past, but because of inflation, I think
that's right. But here's the thing. You're right. I agree. So we could give this guy Austin Hall some leeway on that, except he said it 2 days ago.
Oh,
you see? That's the point. 2 days ago, he made this claim. So I don't think inflation's gotten that much worse in the past 2 days. But
that's a good point.
It's a good point. You make a good point. So, well, hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for calling in, man. I appreciate the new caller, and thanks so much for enjoying the show.
Thank you very much.
Take it easy, man. Have a good day.
Yep.
All right. If Avarice is in the back, he could jump up if he wants. We got 2 callers, and I have to go to the restroom.
Oh, it's me and Chair time.
So you and Chair. So remember, get those donos in for Chair. I will be right back. I'm going to use the restroom. So enjoy. Get him, Chair.
Oh, it's me and Chair. Now here's where we bring in the real donos, boys and girls. Because, you're killing me. Your lack of super chats is killing me back there. Chair says the same. He's actually turning slightly away from you guys or me. Maybe it's because it's the lack of donos. He's not happy with us. He's not happy with us today. Yeah. I hear you, Chair. Chair said he blames EOD. Okay, get the donos in. I'll start adding up the whips for tonight, right? To make sure they all get indoctrinated into tonight's whip. No, Chair. Don't leave me. No, don't, Chair. Oh,
sorry, Chair. Sorry.
I knew he looked angry.
Oh, I forgot. You guys should say that the extravaganza is going again. Probably not the only one. Sort of forgot about it. Yes, the extravaganza is back on. I believe they're going all week this week as well. I have no reason to. But yes, it's back. So everything. Andrew got moved in. I think his studio's at least up and running to the point where he's able to do that show. So, yeah. Some super chats. GG! Give some membership. Thank you so much. The great Zach Gelpy says, hey, Neurons, let's get the donut bar up for 10 bucks. Thank you, my friend. Why do I always screw that? There's too many vowels. Every other letter of vowel that gets me. So, Adam Adamant. $10 says, I wish more people understood perfect's the enemy of good. Well, this administration isn't perfect. It's the best I've seen in my lifetime, 40 years old.
I couldn't, yeah.
Is it better than his first administration? Probably. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's better than the Biden administration. It's better than the Obama administration. It's better than the W. Bush. And then I couldn't, if I'm being quite honest, prior to that, I don't know much about the Clinton administration in that living through it. We had surpluses, but I think that came at the expense of future deficit. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right, though. Zach Gelpy, another 20 bucks. Next month says, oh shit, it's Everest. Don't it?
Oh shit.
The chair is bad. Thank you, Zach. All right. We'll get to our next
another caller.
We got 2 more callers right now, but remember, you still have time if you want to get in the queue. But we're trying to get the dono bar $357 today. We're doing great. All good. I got a heart out about an hour from now at 2:30. But we still have an hour left in the show. So next up, let's bring up the great GG is next. What's up, GG? How you doing today?
Doing good, Rob. Got a little sick, but Thanksgiving's Thanksgiving. But
isn't it like I always get sick around Thanksgiving? Always Easter and Thanksgiving, I would get sick growing up. And my wife got a little sick. My son was pretty sick. I avoided it. So far, I'll probably eat these words tomorrow.
Yeah, you just jinxed that pretty hard.
I was a little congested, but nothing. I wouldn't qualify it as sick. So yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. But hopefully you're feeling better soon.
No, it's fine. Hey, I was going to bring up because you were mentioning. I DM'd you, but
I see it,
but the story about Somalian fraud going back during the election. I have a different one if you want to bring this one up instead.
Sure.
It's probably a little bit better.
The one you want me to bring it on screen?
So it covers that same trial. This has been going on for years now. They've been on trial since May of last year, and it apparently is just now getting close to wrapping up. So they've charged 78 people in this fraud of over 100 million, or I think they said $250 million for feeding children. I forget what they claim they're feeding like 3,000 a day, and they're feeding like 4 people or something crazy. And so this last time was the feeding children. This time apparently was the autistic thing with the latest fraud that just came out. So they just run back the same stories, like whatever sob story that they can create to get federal government money. And 78 people in a fraud. Have you ever seen that many people charged in a fraud case before?
It's out of control.
So many people.
Yeah. And like all but 2 of them are Somalian.
Yeah.
Right, which is insane, right? And now it's not to make even a race claim, it's to like the idea that these people come in, right, and abuse the system so bad. And basically, in a large part, they're allowed to get away with it because people are like, well, we don't want to criticize it or else we'll be called racist, right?
And like that copy, remember that he said the most benign statement about the Somalian crime. So it kind of keeps leading it down this direction of they're so tight knit that they can get away with this stuff. So like, how many more instances can you think of somebody pulling out a 78 person fraud, and it takes you pull off over $100 million before you get busted? Yeah. Like usually you can't get that many people involved in your fraud or somebody's going to snitch on you.
Right. Well, that's what I'm reading is like, everybody knew this. Everybody in Minnesota in politics knew this, but it's like, well, we all rely. And here's the thing, right? It's not like our domestic population. Immigrants from communities like the Somalian community, they're going to vote in a block, right? And so it's like, well, you don't want to piss them off. So as a politician, it's like, well, we can't aggressively go after fraud the Somalian community here or we'll be fucked. The Somalians won't vote for us. So we're just going to turn a blind eye. And what's insane is that even if you accept that, it's shitty, but okay, I understand politics is scummy, right? And that sort of shit factors in. I don't want to go after this group because they're very important for me to have my chances to be reelected. Terrible. I'm not advocating that it's a good idea, but I understand it. But what about the fucking media? They were incapable in Minnesota of covering this? Like, my goodness. Our national media will dig up any bullshit about Trump or people connected to Trump, etc. But they couldn't do this. 78 people. Now, you're right. Think of what that means. No one was talking? Yeah. No one? And the media was incapable of getting this story bullshit. And now you're hearing like sort of whistleblowers that come up from Minnesota. They're like, we've known this since 2014. We've been talking about it. And no one did a damn thing. The media is just totally silent in the state level at Minnesota. The national media doesn't give a shit. And why? Because the media isn't holding truth to power. They bury the truth for the powerful. And in this case, the powerful group here is the Somalian politicians and the Democrats because that's what the establishment institutions want. So we just have to let it go. And when you see a story like this, it really, I mean, I'm sorry, and people are going to say it's different. Fuck you, you're racist or whatever. I don't give a fuck. Say it. I don't care. It really does remind me of the grooming scandal in places like Rotherham and Telford, etc., where like every single institution knew this shit was happening. The politicians knew, law enforcement knew, the media knew, but everybody was just quiet because more racism. You don't want to get called racist. So it's like, it's fucking amazing how this could be the worst, open secret. And it's just like, well, they just get away with it for years and years and years and years and years. And then once it's charged, everyone's like, oh, shucks. Oh, look at that. 78 people charged. That's just charged. Think of how many people probably involved to some level that they couldn't get proof to indict, and it's just like, oh, well. And the mainstream media is just like matter of fact, like, oh, what can you, oh, well, sorry. While your Fourth Amendment stripped through the Patriot Act, sorry, your tax dollars are funding Al-Shabaab. Oh, well, what can you do? Anyways, it's racist to call it out.
And I put another link in the chat if you want to click that one too. That's related to that trial, or it was like the first 7 people that got indicted or charged. This was the story where one of them dropped off like 120 grand at one of the jurors like doorstep to acquit the people. And I don't see it in this story, but I swear I remember it. Like she took the person who dropped the money off took like 60 or 80,000 from the bag. So it's just the absolute no honor amongst thieves.
It's brutal. It's brutal. It's so shameless too. It's absolutely fucking shameless, you know. And the best part is like. The truth of it is, like, the politicians don't even give a shit. Like, if you have to at some level be like, well, what's the fucking difference if you're these Somalians being tried, right? This is the game, right? Tax dollars are all a slush fund. Why target us? Well, because you're shameless. It's so blatant what you're doing. But it doesn't, like, they have a point. It's like, this is how shit's done. It's fucking grotesque. So, but yeah, what a shit show. What an absolute shit show there. And it's, you know, it's barely fucking scratching, you know, the mainstream narrative. And yep. Tim Walz was there. He knew all of this. The guy ran for VP, and this story didn't come out while he was running. That's insane.
Yeah, and I think I just looked up Minnesota's tax revenue is like $2 billion a year or something. And so if they're getting away with $250 million in schemes, like how many are not getting caught? Like that's the first question you ask. And so you're like, so there's 1% of the money getting swindled, like of your tax revenue. How much more is getting swindled? So it's getting out of control. I'll drop off, but I'll call back later in the week. I've got some HUD stuff to talk about.
Awesome.
The HUD director called up, but
so always a pleasure. I hope everything's going great for you, and thanks so much, man. I always appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Take it easy, Rob. See you.
Yep. See it. I want to actually make sure I bookmark these 2 stories. So, let's see. Where do I want that? Choose another folder. We'll just put it under corruption. Yeah, sure. There we go. All right. How long, Nate? Thanks so much. $10 says, Chair! Rob doesn't accept that kind of language about bagels. Oh, shit. Now Chair's being anti-Semitic. I do enjoy bagels, but sadly, out of the diet now. Trying to cut carbs out. I'm no fucking expert on it, but something tells me that bagels probably high in carbs. Right? They're sort of like a dense bread. So I'm putting 2 and 2 together and saying, maybe I should cut back on bagels. But I do love, there's nothing better. I like a plain bagel with just butter, like toasted with the buttermilk. Fucking awesome. My mom used to make she would toast bagels with like ham, and then I'd put Miracle Whip on it, but ham, cheese, and she'd toast like half bagels like that, and you'd have just like a half bagel sandwich like that. Or she would do pizza ones with pizza sauce. I loved it. It's great growing up. AJC, what a legend, says $50. Says, not too long ago here. I saw that, Evers. Not too long ago here in Goodyear, Arizona, there was a big fraud of people getting state-funded money for medical insurance for fake sober livings, especially Native Americans. They just randomly pick up some off the street for the benefits. It's crazy. Yeah, the amount of shit that happens like that is absolutely insane. I remember reading a lot about, during Doge, how these NGO scams work. So you're some fucking, you know, people in D.C. area, Virginia, something like that. You find a cause. Okay, we're going to be dealing with Lyme's disease in Botswana. And we want taxpayer money to help fight Lyme's disease and raise awareness for Lyme's disease in Botswana. So you contact a group in Botswana. You say, hey, start an organization that's dedicated to fighting Lyme's disease here. Now, it doesn't matter if you actually do anything. Just start the organization. Then we back home will start an organization that's like, we are the American Democratic Foundation for Fighting Lyme's disease in Botswana. Then you put together a paper and you go to the government and you're like, here, we need to, we're doing this. Then the government cuts you a check for like $20 million. You send like $5 million of that to this organization of these people that created this organization in Botswana. And then maybe 5% of that small percentage of money that makes it to Botswana actually does fuck all about anything with the intended purpose whatsoever. And you just made a shitload of money back home. Then what do? Well, you donate to the very politicians that allowed you to do this in the first place. So the politicians have no incentive to like thoroughly investigate. What do they give a fuck? Ends up with kickbacks to them at the end anyways. And who loses? You, the fucking taxpayer. That's who loses. That scam's done over and over. Only many times it's not some cause like Lyme's disease in Botswana. It's some cause like trans education and shit like that. That's actually against what you fucking believe in. 5% does seem high. Vita, $2 says, Rob, did you see Pisco asking word war debate to debate you? I did see it. I mentioned it last night. Laughable. All right. Let's bring on our next caller. The great and aforementioned Zach Gelpy. What's
Zach
happening,
Gelpy,
Zach?
everybody. That's
what's
Zach
happening,
Gelpy.
man? It's great to hear from you today. What's up, man? Oh, muted. I think you're muted.
Sorry
There
about that.
you go. No problem. Yep. I hear you now.
Sorry about that. Yeah, talk about bagels, man. That's one of my favorites.
Is
With
it? Yeah.
lox and cream cheese. I don't know if you like lox or not. But,
Lox, I do. Cream cheese, I'm not a fan of, though. I can do cream cheese mixed with certain things, but I actually enjoyed lox with a little bit of butter. Yes, I brought this up before. This was the chart when my wife was in labor that was at the end of her bed. And I kept telling the doctor would talk to her and I'd be like, wife, you're at Penny and we need you at Everything Bagel. And the doctor's like laughing. I'm like, why is it an Everything Bagel? Like, what's the message here? Couldn't it just been a plain bagel? And the doctor's like, I don't know. So there you go. Yeah. So Avarice will be dealing with that soon here. But
yes, he will. Yes, he will. Anytime now. Anytime.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. It's really life-changing. So I think it's going to be great. It sucks. That moment sucks. It'll suck more for your wife, trust me, than it will you. Yeah. But it's an amazing thing. So
I hear I've never had the pleasure of experiencing it myself yet. But when you hold your wife's hand, she's in such pain that like she can break your hand. She's holding it so tightly. I hear. But
now I would have to ask my wife. She was in labor for a long time, like 24 hours.
Oh.
I thought that it was like crippling pain the whole time. Now, I'm sure she was hurting more than she left on, but it wasn't like that. Like, we're having conversations the whole time. Now, maybe she just has an insanely high pain tolerance, but I don't think so. I think it like comes in waves. And for her, like they had to induce. So it wasn't really until the very end. Most of it was just sitting there and me annoying the shit out of her, talking about how great of a job I was doing. So, but she did. She had a C. I didn't know if she wanted me to say that, but she had a C-section because they were worried because the labor was so long and stuff. So she didn't go through the worst of okay. Let me rephrase that, or I'm going to get my ass chewed out when I go downstairs. I'm not saying she didn't go through a lot of pain. That is not what I'm saying. Right. But I'm saying that like some of the other women that we heard that you could hear in other rooms in labor sound like it was much more painful for them in that moment. So.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna bring a juggling act.
Yeah, there you go. As the support person, juggle while your wife's in labor. I'm sure she'll love it. Yeah.
I'm sure she will.
I've been practicing with scarves.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I just wanted to come on real quick, not to really talk about much, just tell people, hey, let's get these donos in.
There we go. I saw the email you just sent too. So I will get to work. Yeah, I will get to work on that.
I apologize. It took too long.
Dude, you know how many people it's always like this. Like everything in life's like this for me, right? Well, not everything, but most things. I'll think of something in the moment like this. This is something I got to deal with. And then once like, for example, for me, it's always like a car. Like I'll get in the car and I'll be like, oh, fuck. I forgot. I need to get this in the shop to fix some little detail, right?
Yeah.
But then as soon as you get home, completely forget about it until the next time you fire up the car and you're like, son of a bitch. That's how I am with a lot of this shit, where it's like, I'll totally forget shit until right when I start streaming, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, I was supposed to do this, right? And then the stream ends, and I go downstairs, and everything's busy, and then 24 hours later, I start the stream, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, I forgot that I was supposed to do. So there's a lot of, like, messages I gotta get back to from DebateCon, so, you know, I totally get it.
Yeah, I meant to send it earlier, but then I just got sidetracked, like you said, and seeing you on, I was like, oh shit, I gotta send this quick email to him.
Yes.
Now, when you take a look at it, it's just an overview. It's not in detail or anything.
Sure.
It gives you a sense of what it is.
Yeah.
And I can certainly go over in more detail with you if you.
Right. The idea is, so just, I don't think we have to be super vague here. The idea is, you're sort of getting seminars on confrontational politics, and we're trying to like actually talk to groups that can help affect political change. So it's just sort of a bullet point of what to expect if you come in and are able to give the presentation. It's by no means is it comprehensive. It's just sort of, hey, here's why you should bring this in. Here's the sort of things that will be talked about. So that's sort of what we're talking about. Because people are like, what the fuck are these guys going on?
Yeah, what are they fucking talking about? Yeah, sorry for the meta conversation.
Yeah, that's all. But it's a great idea, and I'm hoping to work with some people here in politics in Pennsylvania, because I think it's something that they definitely, I think obviously at the national level, confrontational politics is important, but uniquely here in Pennsylvania, just like you're saying in Maine, I think that the Pennsylvania conservatives are fucking weak. They're weak.
Well, I'll say this, Rob, it's not just Pennsylvania. It's everywhere. I've worked all over the country, and Republicans in general are weak all over the country. You get some good legislators here and there that are, bomb throwers and are great. And that's where you actually run program in because of those people that are going to sponsor certain pieces of the legislation. But for the most part, they're, very weak. And, it doesn't get any worse than Maine, to be honest with you. They're just feckless up here. So.
Yeah. So I look forward, though. I look forward to hopefully attending some seminars with hopefully some people that can actually really use the sort of strategy session, because I think that, like, not to give too much away here, I don't think you'll mind saying this, but as much as I despise the man, when you look at the tactics of someone like Saul Alinsky, you understand why they're effective.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Like, you have to tip your cap to sort of the strategy of it, and sort of the effectiveness as sort of affecting political change in horrible ways. Saul Alinsky wants, but it is effective, and you have to understand sort of these tactics, and you have to be able to embrace the best strategies of those stuff. And it's not unethical. Nothing's being suggested to be unethical. It's just, this is the best way to go about with sort of being on the offense. Yes. And even this week, like, you tell me if I'm wrong about this, I've covered very little this fucking Venezuelan boat attack story, because it's hearsay. It's the same fucking pattern that we see over and over again with unnamed sources. If you get into the details of it, which I could do, right? The details of it is, it's completely different than what's being suggested as the narrative. But the mere fact that we're talking about it is a victory for the left, right? Because that's how they control the narrative. It's constantly like, wow, here's some hearsay bullshit. Now let's focus on this for a week and a half. And 2 weeks from now, we'll be on to the next bullshit from an unnamed source. It's always offense. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, and Republicans can't keep that as an offensive message in the public narrative for more than 2 weeks.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. We should be still talking about that.
Yes.
I hate to put it this way, because, the man was a great man, and, he lost his life. But politically, just thinking politically, it's such a bullet in our gun that, we could utilize against them. And it's a travesty that we're not.
Well, if you want to take like a less morbid but similar situation, the assassination attempts of Trump. Yes. Now, at that point, that failed assassination attempt, and not only that, but Trump coming out like a fucking boss with blood on his face saying fight, that should be it. That should be the political moment. That should have been like the biggest story.
Election.
Right,
that
it did.
There won him the election.
Despite the fucking best efforts of Republicans who all but stopped talking about it. Right. Yes. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the insanity of it. I remember, and I've had no formal training in this, right? But just intuitively, you understand. Like I said until I was blue in the face in the 2020 election, like, how come every time a Republican talks, they don't just have pictures of the George Floyd riots going behind them? Every single time. This is what we're dealing with. You are being locked down, Joe Schmo, law-abiding citizen, while people riot and loot under the name of democratic causes over and over and over again.
And magically, no one's getting sick out of those.
Yep. And no one could do it. No, I was like, I felt like I was shouting into the void, like, where the fuck are the Republicans in positions of power? Sure, I'm some dude that's streaming at that point to 20, 30 people. I'm saying it, but where are the people with bigger influence? Where are they? Where are the politicians?
Well, I'll tell you where they are. Okay. So they are listening to the consulting class. And on the Republican side, the consultants believe in not losing, but trying not to lose.
Correct.
But not winning. They're not playing to win; they're playing to not lose, and that's and they're always playing the defensive game. And unfortunately, that doesn't work. What we need to do is go on offense, and we need to fight fire with fire, and we need to be aggressive. The problem is a lot of people, they think that saying certain things about the other side is, unchristianly, so to speak, or, uncouth. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not asking people to be as nasty as my group is. If you just look us up in Google, you'll see the types of mailers we do, and it's pretty hard-hitting stuff. I'm not telling you to do what we do. All I'm asking people is to be 10% less polite than they are right now. That's it.
Yep. And that's a great way to put it. And like, listen, I think the point you make there about like playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win, this is something that I said, it's fine, Avarice, it's fine. I saw your message here. I think that the concept of leadership comes to mind, right? Now, you don't expect every politician to be a leader, but when we have these seminal moments like COVID, like, where's the leadership? Like, sitting around and waiting for a focus group to say something, or waiting for other politician to sort of be the first one that pops their head out and seeing if their head gets whacked like a mole or not. That's not leadership. No. And the problem is what we see from the Republicans, particularly in Congress, like, say what you will about Trump, but at least he's doing things that are deemed controversial. What are the Republicans doing? Nothing. It's always the same shit. Hide like cowards, always in this monolithic group, no one individually going out and doing anything. And look, to the extent that there are, like them or dislike them, you have people like Thomas Massey, people like Rand Paul. I'm not saying you have to like them. I'm saying at least they're willing to stick their head out, right? And be like, look, John Fetterman on the left side of things, right? Like, there's Fetterman. He's out there saying things that he knows his base isn't going to like. So,
Well, here's the thing about Thomas Massey and Rand Paul. A lot of their advisors come from the same school of politics as I do.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them. And a lot of those guys were doing it decades before me. They know confrontational politics from, like the back of their hand. Those guys are legends in our small sphere of confrontational politics on the conservative.
No, I totally agree. And it's like, listen, like, when I ran for Congress, my idea was this. It wasn't going to be a career, right? It was because I thought that I wanted to see people in positions politically do things. Yep. Right. And I was willing to do it. And I was on it. This is what I said. My job as a candidate is to be as honest and forthright with the constituents as possible. Your job as a voter is try to inform yourself to some degree and make what you think's the best possible decision. That's sort of the pact. That's how it's supposed to work. Not, well, I'll just say the boilerplate shit that I think you want to hear, and then when I get into office, I'll see what the focus group tells me or what Republican leadership tells me I need to do, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's no good to anyone. And it's fine. There's certainly utility for the sorts of politicians that saying, I'm going to listen to what my leadership tells me, and there's a time and a place for that. But is that where we're at in this country now? Is that where we're at in Congress? Of course not. Yeah. Where is the leadership? And it's frustrating to me.
Well, here's the thing about leadership. If you're talking about like leadership within Congress or even in the local legislature, the leader of the caucuses, the problem with leadership is their constituency changes. It's no longer their constituents are their constituents. It's actually the caucus is now their constituents.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see, like, even the furthest right person that, let's say, was very conservative from a very conservative district, when they get to leadership, they become more centrist because their constituency changes, right? They're no longer looking at their constituents. They're looking at the people that voted them into leadership. And therefore, they have to placate the left side of the Republican caucus. So, so you want to be very careful. And this is kind of going a little more into the weeds, but you want to be careful if you have like a very conservative legislator or congressman to convince them not to become part of leadership, because inevitably they will become more centrist, and they're more valuable being the bomb thrower than they are being in leadership.
Right. When I ran,
everybody, like I have to heart out to that meeting, so it's been a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Amber. It's always a pleasure.
Out. Make sure get the dono bar filled while I'm gone. I'm always watching chat, so if you want me to heckle him more tonight, which we're doing, right? It's tonight's show.
Yeah, tonight, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, tonight's 10 o'clock tonight. Get the bar filled.
Thank you, Evers. Hey, good luck on your meeting, and look forward to talking soon, man. Thanks, Evers. Thanks for everything, man. What was I gonna say? When I ran for Congress, it was a special election, so had I won, I would have only. Thanks, getting a call.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah, go ahead.
I would have been serving like half a term. Now, I would have, if I won, I would have ran again. But part of the argument I made was like, at this point, it's unique if it's a special election, right? In that you already know the makeup of Congress, right? We know it. And we know the Republicans were in the minority, I believe, in 2019, right? So it's like, what will this vote do? Whoever wins, is there one legislative issue that this vote's going to matter? That it's going to tip the scale? Probably not. Now, it's not always the best way to look at things, but that was part of my sales pitch. And I said, what you want is someone in positions of leadership that can advance the cause. Even if it's me pushing for shit that I knew legislatively wouldn't get passed at that point because I already knew the makeup. You want someone that's moving that Overton window, right?
Yes.
And I was like, who do you want going on MSNBC debating Ilhan Omar? Joe Schmo, cookie cutter Republican guy that's just saying, pro-life, Second Amendment? Or do you want someone who's actually able to go on there and be like, I'm going to push the most aggressive politics that you can imagine for the conservative side?
Right.
That's what you want. Then, if the leadership has to start from that position and compromise over, at least we're in a better position than if we start here and then compromise over here.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Right, Rob. Exactly right. Yes. We need to be as far right as possible to pull our people that are leaning our way to the right, just like the far left is doing to the Democrats and to Republicans. They need to be more afraid of us than they are of the other side.
Right.
And the only way to do it is by affecting whether they get elected or reelected. That's the only way to do it. Either because politicians don't give a shit. They just want to get reelected. That's all they care about.
Yep.
So they don't want to do anything. Nothing. They don't want to do anything. And it's both sides of the aisle. That's why the left hated people. They were railing against Nancy Pelosi. You see them railing against Schumer now, is because they're fighting that leadership to push for even further left things than we can even comprehend.
That's right.
And we, guys like me are trying to do it on the right and to push the right further to the right. And that's just the game. And unfortunately, there's a ton of people on the far left, and there's very few guys like me.
Right. That's exactly it.
That's the issue. But we can still use the same exact tactics minus violence to do it. I have to, because
yes, I know, because isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that if the left heard you say, "Oh, use the same exact touch," they'll be, "Oh, you're suggesting violence," implicitly acknowledging that they use it, right? They'll acknowledge. You know, one of the horrible things that I read that is probably true. Take the individual out of it, but I saw a post, and I think this is largely true. It said the left got away with assassinating Charlie Kirk, and there's basically no consequences. They took out one of our most effective people, and they've suffered no lasting cultural or political consequences whatsoever.
And in fact, we're seeing some people on the right accusing right wingers for it. And talk about self-sabotage. I mean,
even Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Before she left, where she's like, oh, the rhetoric of Trump. There's things about MTG I liked. In fact, there were things she was pushing Trump on that I liked. Yeah. But to say like, oh, it's the rhetoric from the right. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck. If anything, we are so far behind the game. And it's gotten so fucking insane, and the left is so insane at this point that probably the single most important issue is like the cultural narrative of like, no, fuck you, you violent lunatics. Fuck you. It's sad that that's how low the bar is at this point. And it's something that even with Thomas Massey, who I respect a lot of what he does, right? When he... allegedly, I'd love to see more of the quote when he allegedly was like, it's time for both sides to turn down the rhetoric. Immediately following the death, shut the fuck up. That is not what we need right now. That is absurd. Like to even give into that narrative, you've already lost. If that's the narrative, right? The left commits violence and it's like, well, condemn both sides. Someone on the right commits violence and it's the right. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah. No, we need to go on offense in every single level. And that also means recruiting people to run for local offices, because then you can build a bench for legislative offices. And then you build that bench from legislative offices to federal offices.
Yes.
I mean, and the left has been doing that systematically for, 50, 70 years. And it's time for us, I say this a lot, and I've said this before on your channel. We are late in the game. There's no doubt about it. We are late. We are, to the point where we're at the precipice if it's too late or not. That's really where we are, folks. And I believe that we can fight back. Just like, when is the best time to plant a tree?
Now. Oh, right.
But best time right now.
Right. Yep.
That's what we need to do. We got to stop digging ourselves out of this hole and start fighting back.
Well, and the other thing is, right, we're told by the sort of the thinking class in the Republican, the focus group class, like, you can't do this. You can't do this. This will be a loser. It'll be a loser. Remember, that's exactly what they said about Donald Trump.
Right.
All of the people in the know, the career people that are that were like behind the scenes with the Republicans were like, this dude has no chance to win the primary. Then he did. And they were like, okay, well, now you have to change. You have to change, or you have no chance to win the general. Then he did. Right. They're so far behind it. They'll constantly tell you like, nope. You can't do this. It won't be effective. You got to continue to be the milquetoast, middle of the road. No, fuck that. Right. The truth is, I think now is a key time, by the way. And I think this is one of the ways, people mistake this when I criticize Trump. I do it for two reasons. One, because I'm a human being and I'm trying to be a free thinker, and I'll criticize whoever the hell I see in any issue. I don't give a shit. Even if it's someone I like or support, that's the way it is. There is no one, even myself, I criticize myself and stupid shit that I do or believed or, so like that's just the way it is. But the other thing is Trump's unique in that I think that he'll listen to his base. If his base like sort of revolts and says, no, we don't like this, he'll say, okay, let's change course on that. So
we see that all the time.
I'm trying to do that out of a place of here is what will help you, Trump, and help the country the most. And this is why I'm criticizing, right? I think that what like people forget, they assume like, oh, you're saying you dislike Trump. No, that's not what I'm saying. Regardless of what I say, Trump's the best president in my lifetime. Bar none, period.
Bar none.
He's the only one that I ever fucking voted for that won. Right? Like I didn't vote for, I was not a Romney McCain fan to say the least. I was supporting Ron Paul back then, right? But push come to shove now, I'd probably vote for someone like Romney and McCain if it was them versus Kamala Harris or fucking Pete Buttigieg or something.
I wouldn't.
I know it'd be close. I'd have to really think about it. But here's what I will say though, like the idea of like sort of pushing this sort of narrative and pushing for like these sorts of politics and go on the offense, like this is something that actually people are thirsty for it. I think that this country at this point, that people are like so fed up with politics as usual that when the people that, and it's a difficult thing, man. Like there are good people in the establishment level politics that they don't want the boat to be rocked, and they're good. They are good people. There's a dude that I know that I used to argue with all the time on my channel. Great dude, is like a county commissioner, Republican, and a good one. And he'll tell you on the record. He'll come on stream and tell you like, yep, big mistakes being made here, right? Like he'll say that, right? But then when I'm like, I basically get to like, fuck all these people. I'm tired of these know-it-alls telling me it's time to be quiet. You got to listen to, we got to do things the old way. Fuck you. The old way is losing over and over and over again. It's time to and he get mad about it because he's part of that old system. Right. And the truth is those people are necessary. And I'm not so arrogant that I'm saying that someone like that is like a piece of garbage that doesn't know what he's talking about. What I'm saying is the system as a whole, what the Republicans are doing, that the Republican system that got us years under Obama of, if we get into power, we'll repeal and replace Obamacare. And then they get into power and they go, that system has failed us. Something radical needs to change if that's going to be the system. Here in Pennsylvania, we lost to a man, John Fetterman, who didn't know his name basically at the time he won the election. We lost to that. And no one in Pennsylvania politics in the PAGOP, no one lost their job. No one was forced out. It was just, because it's more about nepotism. It's more about like, well, you've been here for a long time, so you're guaranteed this position. No, that's not what this is. The stakes to this isn't like, a pickup basketball league. Well, we like that guy. He's been here a long time, so we're going to continue to allow him to be a coach. No, the stakes are high. My child's future's on the line. So I'm sorry, if you're not getting results, thank you so much for your attempt. It didn't work out. You could do some other position, but you don't get the position of leadership anymore when you fail over and over. You remember Ronna McDaniels at the GOP? How terrible was she? Yet we were just told, well, she's there. We got to stick with her. I'm so over it. I really am. So it's a fine line, though, to understand. Yes, the people that have been there on the ground for years that are part of this system that say, hey, we're part of this system and want to continue to be part of it. You do have to include them. But at the same time, we do need radical change from the way that things have been.
Well, the thing you touched upon it big time with Donald Trump. Okay. Yes. Has he made mistakes? Absolutely. But why has he won? And why did he win over Dr. Oz winning? Why did he win over Mitt Romney or John McCain? It's simple. In order to inspire, you have to be willing to offend.
Yep. That's great. That's absolutely true. Yep.
And he hits that on the head all the time. He is not afraid to offend people. And by doing so, he inspires people.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. Policy-wise, yeah, he's done some good things. He's done some really bad things too. But what inspires people is he doesn't give a shit.
That's exactly it. And you'll never be a leader if you're worried about offending people.
Exactly.
You're not going to be. And, again, leadership, not for everyone. Totally get it. But right? No one's saying that, like, you yourself, individual at home, has to be offensive. What we're suggesting is, and I've never heard someone put it this way. I thought it was brilliant. Where you're like, just be like 10% less polite. That's all we're asking.
Well, I can't own that. That was the late great what's his name? The conservative writer. What's his name? He Front Page Mag.
Let me see. I know who you're talking. I can picture his face.
David Horowitz.
Yes.
So yeah, David Horowitz. And here's the thing about David Horowitz. So he actually founded Ramparts magazine, which was a communist magazine back in the early 60s.
Yeah.
And he saw the light when a good friend of his got murdered by some leftists, and they disagreed by something that woke him up. He was actually born into a communist family. His parents were communists, and he woke up and then just like alcoholics, right? They rail against alcohol. Well, he went the total opposite way and became one of the most conservative voices in this country. And
he used to do a lot of like college campus stuff.
Yes.
Where he would go out, like there's some awesome videos you can see of David Horowitz just crushing. One of the most famous ones was like, I don't want to mislabel, but I don't give a fuck because she's a piece of shit. Some student that was like some fucking Hamas supporter, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Hezbollah or something.
A Hamas supporter, yeah.
And like, Horowitz is Jewish, and he's going on about it, and he's, she's pretending to be like, oh, genocide, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, would you support like killing all my people? And she's like, yes. After he pushes her, and then it's like, you see, like just say the fuck, just be honest. And he's like, good. Like he didn't storm out or anything. He was like, you see, that's the point. Like they have this false veneer, and that's the left in general, right? And I'm not just saying the Israel Palestine. I'm saying in general, they won't be honest about the shit. Just be honest. They'll all the time. Yeah, that's it. Mr. B knows exactly the clip, for it or against it. That's it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an amazing clip to watch, like a masterful, like sort of debater and rhetorician, like force this person to admit that they're for this violent fucking bullshit. Like basically the erasure of him and everyone that shares his ethnicity. It's crazy. It's a really crazy clip.
Yeah. I mean, David Horowitz, I encourage everyone, he has these small little booklets on all sorts of different topics that he wrote and his organization wrote. One is called Fighting Fire with Fire. And he basically outlines a lot of what's in Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals and how to utilize, their tactics against them. And that also is with messaging as well. Instead of calling it sanctuary cities, which has like a positive connotation, my organization calls it harboring havens, because they're harboring, illegal immigrants. And in some cases, in a lot of cases, especially in my state of Maine, actual ISIS terrorists. And we did a mailer on that, in fact, and took out a guy who was running for state Senate who was the majority leader of the House when he got turned out to run for the state Senate. And using that type of rhetoric is what we need to do. We, instead of utilizing their rhetoric, we need to come up with our own. And
I totally agree. I totally agree. So, Zach, it's a pleasure as always, man. I look forward to talking to you in the near future, but it's always a pleasure, man.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Have a good one, man. So, now there was a person that was trying to call in, and it looked like they both got kicked out or something, or lost a connection. So if you want to call in, that's fine. Whoever that person was. Otherwise, there's no other callers in, and he got me for another 20 minutes or so. So we have 20 minutes to hit the dono goal. It's an excellent point that Zach's making, and I want to give a shout out to someone on X who spent a lot of time writing something up, and I haven't addressed them yet. And it was someone that I met down at DebateCon who had an idea of sort of really coming up with sort of an offensive, and it was inspired by sort of his military service, sort of his idea of how to go on offense. And I'd love to get him connected to Zach. But I don't want to say anything because he DM'd me, but it's a very good list of sort of stuff that he came up with on principles to go on offense, sort of using sort of a military strategy. And he's not saying violence, that's not what he's saying, but sort of the same mentality that you use in a military sense of like sort of how to organize, how to like positions to attack and things of that nature. I think it's very interesting. So hopefully I'll be able to talk about some of the stuff he wrote here soon. But a very smart guy, young man, to sort of understand the importance of these sort of offensive-minded positions being necessary going forward. A couple more things. What am I checking? It's rare that I don't have callers at this time of day. Now, again, tomorrow we're probably going to limit the call-in shows to Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Or no, it's going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays are going to be the call-in show. So we will do a call-in show tomorrow, but then we'll probably take Wednesday off. What would you like to hear me talk about for the last 20 minutes? We'll leave it up to the audience. Now, I promise whatever you want, as long as it's reasonable, I'll talk about. Your goal is to try to get to that $357 goal. So we can do it. I know we can. Looking at some other stuff here as we wait to see what the chat wants to talk about. I see the word guys are crushing it. Please, please, please don't forget. Go over to word on X, word debate. Follow them on X. Why Texas sucks, says Level 4 Lobster. I don't have much to say. I've only ever been there once, and it was perfectly fine while I was there. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Is Day Shift going to take the L? I don't know. It's getting close. What I want to do is set up some debates here. So, unfortunately, as I've reached out for people for debate, most of what people want to talk about are bullshit drama stuff or religion debates. Turkey Cherokee says USA should stay majority white forever. Just so you know, I'm not white, I'm brown. How do you call in? The link is at the top of the YouTube channel. There's a StreamYard link. So if you see the chat there, click the link at the top. That's how you call in. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the U.S. should stay majoritarily white. I totally agree. I don't have a problem, not a white nationalist, in saying that only white people should be allowed to stay here. But there's nothing wrong saying white people are a minority in the world and they're diminishing. And there's nothing wrong for saying that this country, that I think was the greatest country in the history of the world, founded primarily by white people with their cultural norms, is something that should be preserved. I agree. Is there going to be scoring at Word Wars? No, nothing like that. If you guys ever see a screen door on a submarine, I guarantee you a woman put it on. That's funny. So now, I don't know that there's going to be official declared winners. It'll be very similar to president. Now, we'll probably have polling, so people watching lives will be able to vote in their poll who they think won. But it'll be similar to a presidential debate. No one declares a winner or a loser in a presidential debate. So we're not going to have judges or scoring or anything of that nature. We'll leave it up to the audience themselves to decide who they thought had the better performance. So, Letty, thanks so much. $5 says, I took an hour nap while listening. Did you debate any left or righty? No, there haven't been any debates yet. Just general yelling at people, but they're scared. Last night they were scared, weren't they? Yes, thanks so much for the donation, Lenny. Appreciate it, man. Uh-oh, I hear my son running around downstairs. Rob, yell at chat. Chat, I'm yelling! Get donos in! It's all right. They're doing fine. Someone is trying to call in. It looks like they're struggling to set up their mic or camera. So, we'll see if that works out. Well, that'd be nice. Be nice to have another caller. Oh, EOD's now yelling at people. Yeah. Oh, shit. Look at this. Our good friend, Level 4 Lobster. What's up, my friend?
Sorry if it's loud. It's peak season. Delivering packages to every single house in the world. Probably your house next.
Yeah, nice.
So make sure you leave out some drinks and some cookies. It takes a lot of calories to keep the fat guy with beard going. So don't forget your UPS guy this season.
Yeah, it's great advice. We have an excellent UPS man and FedEx man. They're both very nice, and they're very nice to my dog. So definitely won't be forgetting him this season. And they're going to be making a shitload of trips here. So
I wanted to share some wonderful news other than Texas sucking, which it always does. But I wanted to share that this past Friday, my daughter has been saving up every week to purchase a new puppy. Our puppy passed back in November of last year. And we were able to, last Friday, go out and get a brand new puppy for the house. It's a
well, good for you, man.
12-week-old English bulldog named Wilbur.
One of my favorite. That's great. That's amazing news, man. Well, good for you. I hope your family
went with
loves
Wilbur
him.
because I wanted to have the maximum amount of. I wanted to have the maximum amount of names that I could call him: Willie, Bert.
Wilbert's got some old man.
I don't really have anything else to.
Well, wait, before you go, my wife has
I think
a
there's a delay.
Oh, okay. Well, there might be a little delay. My wife has a question. She wants to know, what's the best way to tip drivers in the holiday season? Do you just put an envelope outside? What's the best way to go about it?
The cheapest way, honestly, is going to be go out and get some lottery tickets. And nothing will make them happier to get the chance to win a lot of money. But at the same time, if you have like homemade cookies or something like that, always a plus too. But like if you're looking for a cheap way out, but it could pay off in the long run, lottery tickets, I always suggest. They're easy. You can go to any convenience, grab them.
That's great. That's a great idea. Do you just put it in an envelope out in the porch where they normally deliver the packages? Uh-oh. Maybe we lost Lobster. Well, hey, man, I think we lost you, but I appreciate it, man. Be safe at work. It's always great to hear from you, and hopefully we talk soon.
All right, later, Rob.
We'll see you. Yeah, it's a great idea. Oh, who rated? Thank you to whoever rated. Thoroughly appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. We got another caller in. Oh, Pisco rated. Thanks for the raid, Pisco. Another caller, Run Mouth. What's happening, sir? Maybe you're muted. Oh, no. Oh, shit. You hit the wrong button. Oh, you just came to say I suck. Yes, Pisco, who hate watches me a lot and is always afraid to call into the show. Thank you to his audience for coming in. Just came in to say you suck. Thanks so much, guys. It must be weird to actually watch a show that's actually talking some sort of truth instead of partisan hackery politics where you pretend to be fucking Destiny with your fake rage. Must be weird for you. But hey, thanks so much to the audience members for coming and helping with the engagement anyways. And I do appreciate the raid. I do. Now, any of you, we got 13 more minutes left. All of you Pisco Raiders, you can click the link at the top there and you can call in and tell me what I'm wrong about and, you know, how smart you all are. The link's up there at the top. So feel free to click it if you're watching on YouTube. Mucho appreciated. But I do have a hard out at 2:30. Oh, Nate, I heard you. What's up, man? What's happening?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great, man. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, you too. Hey, so we've been misled a little bit with this with the pulling truckers off of the road.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they are shutting down trucks, and the company has to come pick it up and take their driver home. But these trucks are going straight back out on the road, and the same truck is getting caught multiple times. I've yet to be able to prove that there's the same driver, but if the same truck is being caught 4 times since March with a driver that can't read, we need to be shutting down these companies.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that's one of the big problems. And it's something I've said about Trump's sort of immigration policies from the get-go. It's one thing, I agree with the aggressively going after people that are here illegally, etc., but you have to go after the companies that are intentionally facilitating it. And if a trucker company, for example, is allowing someone on the road that they know has a fraudulent CDL or doesn't have a CDL or can't speak the language to understand road signs, then yes, at some point, if they continue to allow this, they should be held accountable. I totally agree. So
well, there's no way hiring a trucker and not they can't read or speak English.
right, yeah, I know it's crazy. It's absolute insanity.
So,
but
anyway, I'll let you get back
hey, man,
to the grip.
yeah,
Make sure the likes are hit.
Thank you so much. Be safe out there on the road, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yep,
take it easy.
We'll talk to you later.
Yep. For those that are like, I know the link's been put out there, but okay, let me show you how this works. So here's if you're watching my channel, right? See this up here at the top of the chat. You click that, and then look what happens. There's a link. That link is for the StreamYard to call in. It's usually up there anytime I'm doing a call-in show. And people are welcome to call in if they see fit. So, but that's okay. I don't know if they're too dumb or I'll be honest. I'm a fucking idiot. If I'm watching a show, I might not be able to see that. So maybe it does behoove me to sometimes show people where that's at. Our good friend Sniper. What's happening today, Sniper? How you doing?
Hey, did you have a good night, man?
Yeah, I had an excellent night. I didn't get a lot of sleep, but it was all right. The sleep I got was good, and I had a lot of fun. So
yeah, there was a lot of trolls on keeping you up, from what I heard. I personally went to bed at 11 o'clock last night.
Yes, I heard you did. Yes, those jerks keeping me up late. So how's everything going with you, man?
It's going. It's
good. Good to hear.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, we're praying for you, man. We are, and your whole family.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's it could be worse. It could always be worse.
I know.
Right?
It's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah, it's certainly true. It could be worse. It's hard to look at life that way, but it really is. We started off today talking about our good friend Eco Rich that passed away, and it really puts into perspective. Like I try to. Even when things are the toughest, I know it's so hard to do this, but even when things are the toughest, to sort of look and say, take perspective of what you could be thankful for and what God's given us. It's tough to do in times of crisis, but I think you're a stronger person for it. So,
it's true. It's 100% true.
So,
but yeah, I just wanted to check in with you. Make sure
I'm
that
okay.
You got plenty of sleep.
The trolls kept me up late, but it was okay. We enjoyed it. So
I wasn't going to be one of those guys that donated at the last second. I make sure, if I'm going to do it, I just do it. I didn't want to keep you there waiting for 5 minutes. Like, yeah, you finally go to bed and sleep. But,
It's all funny, though. The people that do that, it's all funny. So. All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate it. We'll talk soon, man.
All right.
God bless you, man. Yep, we'll be praying for you.
Appreciate it.
Envelope on your door labeled UPS or FedEx driver written on it. Sorry about the connect. No problem, Lobster. All right. Oh, look at this. Our buddy Nate, $50 says hit the like. Don't let your chances to be heard slip away. Thank you so much. Always incredible. Thank you so much, Nate. Please be safe out there on the road. God bless you, man. Our friend Fallen Heathen again. What's up, Heathen?
What's up? I just figured I'd call back in since nobody was calling.
Yeah, well, you got, listen, I was talking a little shit in Pisco there.
I know. I was hoping some of his cronies would call in. But
him or one of his, him or one of his fans. I thought they'd call in. They know.
Yeah, they're afraid.
Yes.
But no, I forgot to bring up when we were talking earlier about getting in shape and stuff like that. Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah. So I like fishing, though I haven't done it much lately. Also, some other things that I like to do. I do like hiking through the woods. It's something that we do a lot around here when it's nice. It's harder to do that stuff when it's cold out, though. And then some of the other hobbies I have are less active. I enjoy games a little, like not a lot, much anymore. Watching movies
You
and
should take
shit.
you should take up a hobby or something like that you and your boy can do. Like you said, active. Get out, go do some fishing and stuff. People really underestimate the benefits of being outside in the sun.
I do play chess. Yes, I know, and it's something that we're trying to do. I think, as much as I hated this project, and if you're in Pennsylvania, you're probably like, oh. They had a project called Rails for Trails where they tore up a lot of the railroads that were around here that aren't really used anymore and then made them sort of trails that you could walk on, right? And as much as I hated that project, and I think there was a lot of waste and fraud and shit that went into it, it has created some cool trails around here. And we are going to start. It's difficult, again, in the winter, but the plan is when we pick our son up, we would like to immediately go on the trail, have our dog when we pick him up at school, and then walk like a couple miles with him.
Yeah, there you go.
It's actually very nice. So that is something that we plan on doing. The problem is it's very difficult with inclement weather, like when it's super cold out or when it's snowing. But that is the ultimate. That is something that we want to do. So
yeah, that'd be good. Like I said, something to keep you busy. And you were saying earlier about getting bored, and eating. Like, if you had a hobby or something like that. Like I always got some kind of hobby going on, whether it's archery or fishing or something. And recently, I've taken up. I want to get into competitive pistol shooting, and it's just fun, tinkering. It just keeps my mind occupied.
I've been shot.
Eating.
I've been shot in a long time, and it's absurd because I have so many friends that do a lot of shooting at the range and stuff. And so it's definitely something that I need to get out there and start doing again. It's been a long time, man, since I've been
You definitely should, because I've been ever since I moved to Texas, I carry everywhere I go, and I go to the range. Maybe it was like once or twice a year, and we went a couple weeks ago, me and the boys, and it took like 3 magazines before I could get on target. And I was like, this is terrifying how bad I was at shooting.
Yeah.
And for someone who shoots like archery a lot, I thought it would just be there like naturally. Sure. And it's just not. And I was like, man, if I'm going to carry, I need to learn how to do this. So I decided to get into competitive shooting. So at least it'll give me a reason to go shoot and get better at it.
It might even like carrying and not being effective and not knowing what you're doing may be worse than not carrying. And I think it's a mistake that I myself, it's something that I need to take my own advice, because so many people get themselves in a position where they just assume, it'll be easy. If someone comes at me, it'll be easy. And it's not easy. And you want it to be almost muscle memory. You don't want it to be something that you're struggling to figure out, because at that point, when it's really necessary, it's going to be too late.
Yeah, and that's why I decided to get into competitive shooting, because it teaches you, obviously, to shoot under pressure, and that's what's going to happen. If you ever forced to use your firearm in self-defense, it's not necessarily how bad of a shot you are. It's like fumbling over the gun and panicking and not being able to get on target, where, like you said, it should just be muscle memory, like directly to the target. Yeah, there was some guy that posted a video the other day on Twitter of him doing like a dry fire drill while he was outside barbecuing. And so many people were in the comments giving him shit about, what do you think you're like some, army guy, just like ragging on him. And I'm like, no, this is like what you should be doing. You should be, drawing your weapon and pointing and like, trying to acquire different targets and stuff like that. And it's like, if you don't understand that it's safer, like you were saying, it's probably more dangerous to carry and not be comfortable with it than, the other way around. It's like, that's exactly what you should be doing, is getting comfortable with it. And you shouldn't be giving people shit for practicing.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like a lot of like for me to tie these two things together, like I have this sort of like joke that I would always say, and it seems like it's sort of like some of these jokes, it's okay to laugh at, don't get me wrong. Right. But they kind of come from a place where it's like, when you really think about it, stupid. Like the old, like, oh, my wife will kick my ass if I do that. I do that stuff sometimes, but the reality is that's not true. And it sort of comes from this stereotypical place, right? That, that's just fuck. Like, I had this idea. It's like, I got to work out and get in shape before I go to the gym, because when you get there, everybody's in shape. But the truth is, the more people I talk to, it's like, no, it's actually the exact opposite. You could be the most out of shape person in the world. If you go to the gym, someone will probably help you. They're not going to mock you. They'll be like, yeah, that's fucking awesome that you're here trying to do something. I think it's the same with shooting. You see a lot of these smart asses online
Oh, yeah.
That have all these comments. But then if you actually go to a range, of course, if you're doing something that's not safe, people will speak up. But most people support you, even if you're just a complete novice, right? As long as you're doing the things to maintain safety, like they're not going to make fun of you because you're terrible at shooting or your grip's bad or any of that shit. And so, yeah, I think I try to ignore a lot of the shit because I know exactly what you're talking about. I know the video you're talking about. And a lot of tough guys, well, this is how I do it and blah, blah, blah. Most people that are serious aren't doing that, though. They're just like, no, that it's great that someone's trying something as long as it's safe. And, it's very similar to like the gym commentary where anonymous tough guys online say one thing, but the actual people, if you go and you do it in real life, it's a completely different story. So.
Well, yeah, anytime anyone's into something like that, they want to help and teach and stuff like that. And that's a lot of what I've been, talking to people that do compete and stuff. It's like everyone there wants you to enjoy it and do good and, you know what I mean, like inspire you. It's the same thing with jiu-jitsu. Everyone's always afraid. I was always afraid to go to the first class because you're just going to get smashed on by everyone. Everyone's going to be a bunch of arrogant, assholes. And they're just not. They understand they were that white belt. They were there. Brand new green and had to be, taught just like you did. So a lot of people want to teach you and want to inspire you and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right,
on, man. We'll get out there, go do some shooting, find a hobby. You're going to be jacked this summer.
I will. Thank you, man. It's always appreciated. Thanks so much, man.
Talk
soon. Yeah. There, check out Fallen Heathens channel. And then, my goodness, look at this guy, AJC. $85! Unbelievable, says to complete the goal. Let's go, day crew. We can't have night shift laugh at us tonight for not completing the goal. Hit the like button. See you guys later tonight for some whip songs. Yeah, I owe 1, 2, 3, 4. I owe 4 whip songs tonight. I'll write that down. You'll remind me. Someone will remind me. I owe 4 whip songs. I also, Thank you. Yes, I'm sure you will, are we not, man? My wife also says she misses chair. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much the support means. Thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely amazing. We're going to line up more debates and stuff like that. We're going to get it done. Having a great time here on the show, talking with all of you. So we'll be doing the day show again tomorrow around noon Eastern time. And then we're going to take Wednesday and Friday off. We're going to transition to a Tuesday, Thursday only day show. Tonight, going to have an excellent show. I think we're going to do a debate review. Maybe we will review the debate on Wick's channel last night with Destiny, Soy Pill, Good Logic, and Bronca, I think was her name. Maybe we'll review that, or maybe we'll review a different debate. Now, that's subject to change if we see some big news story break that's something that's worth talking about. So anything could happen, so we will... Did I get Nate's super chat? Our buddy, how long, Nate? Yes. Nate, thank you again. $50 says, hit the like. Don't let your chances to be heard slip away. Donations always appreciated. You guys are absolutely fantastic. My son, normally I have a hard 2:30 out to pick my son up at school. He's not at school, but I do have a hard 2:30 out because we're taking the wife away. She's got some stuff to do today. She's going to go get nails done. Me and Hank are going to go shopping. So it's going to be an exciting day. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. I'll see you back here at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to raid the intrepid Jim Bob. Great dude. So please say hi to Jim Bob. Give him a sub over there. Much appreciated. You guys are the best. I want to thank everyone that called in today. I want to thank Avarice, who called in and helped with the show. I also want to thank my mods, Are We Not Men, EOD. I want to thank Achilles, Zen's Forward, who I haven't seen in a while. I hope everything's going all right, Zen. And Naughty Germ. Thank you all. You guys are amazing. And I guess my wife. She doesn't do anything as a mod, but she's still great. So I want to thank my wife because she's great. Also want to thank everyone who donated, everyone who called in, everyone who typed in the chat, and everyone who just watched and gave a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Speaking of Good Logic and Andrew Bronco, you should go on Tim Pool. I will soon. Don't worry. I'll be back. I got to talk to the guys. Look, once the new year starts, it's going to be fast and furious. We're going to be doing a lot of shit, both on my channel, with the Crucible, with Word War. So there's a lot of shit that's going to be coming. So don't forget to go over to wordwardebate.com. Thank you so much, Naughty Term, to get your tickets. They're going to start announcing people, and the tickets are going to run out. They are, especially those VIP tickets. So please. Who's entering? Wow, right at the end here, as I'm ending. What you got, Block?
Oh, hey, Rob, what's going on?
Real quick, I gotta go, man. What do you got real quick?
I just wanted to say I like the show. Been watching a lot lately. You stole me from Jim Bob, so...
Oh, no! Don't say that! I love Jim Bob, but no, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I do have to run today. I have a hard out. I gotta get my wife and son somewhere, but, man, thank you so much.
I'll be watching, man. Thanks
yeah,
a lot.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So check out Word War Debate. Last thing I'll say is, please say a prayer tonight for the family of my friend Eco Rich. I don't want to say friend. That's not fair. We weren't friends, but fellow debate coach and judge and panelist Eco Rich. He's one of the good ones. I'm so sorry that he passed away, and prayers out to his family. So please say a prayer for his family tonight. And Sarah Backstrom and Andrew Wolf, the two National Guard members that were shot. Sarah tragically lost her life. Andrew's still recovering. Say a prayer for them and their families. And never forget the memory of Charlie Kirk. Now the left celebrated his murder. Now there's basically been no political consequences from them. What a great man Charlie was. And what a great family he had. So God bless Charlie and his family. Prayers out to them. God bless all of you. And we'll talk to you all at 10 o'clock tonight. As always, have a good one.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.